entrenched Flemington for Derby Day 2013. We're only about 10 minutes away from the first race of the day, the Carbine Club Stakes. Let's have a look at the totes for this, where number 2, Hucklebuck, is the favourite at $2.05. Fixed odds, $1.60 on the tote, so a bit shorter there from a for race.
Carbine's Club Stakes, and they're away, and down towards the inside. Paxamadia is away brilliantly and goes for the lead in the early stages, finds it pretty comfortably. Equator settling down in second placing, and then Saintly Lad a length and a half away third, and the favourites lobbed into a good place there. Hucklebuck fourth the outside, although he just seems to want to over-race a little bit in the early part, trying to get some cover to Noor. And around them goes Champollion now. They're followed by no race now, and they're heading towards the 700 metres. Paxamadia the leader, 3/4 clear to Champollion. Saintly Lad in behind them, holding third on the inside, followed by Equator. Hucklebuck a further length and a half away as they swing around the turn. They're being followed by No Equivalent. And then came I Am Titanium, who's peeled out wide. They're into the straight now, 500 metres left to go. And Paxamadia and Champollion, the two leaders, 2 lengths in front of Equator, who's peeled out. And then Saintly Lad boxing on, and Hucklebuck is in the clear. He's got a fair bit of work to do below the 300 because Paxamadia lead off Champollion, Equator, and Hucklebuck are lengthening, coming home hard. But it's Paxamadia in front, 100 metres to go. Here comes Hucklebuck starting to work home. Paxamadia 3/4. Hucklebuck's driving at him. Paxamadia hanging on and got him by a neck. Paxamadia won it from Hucklebuck second. Maybe Equator might hold the third. Best case got home. They're followed closely in the field then by Saintly.
But at least the first two you would think would be heading towards the Sandown Guineas, and this race has been such a good form reference for that in the past.
Paxamadia won it.
Yeah, Paxamadia, positive ride yesterday for Kieran McAvoy. Winkers on and a good start for the day there for Daly. Hucklebuck, wasn't an excuse there. I mean, they walked the first 1,000.
So, look, I think Dominic and Philip Stokes came up with a plan just to ride it a little bit quiet when it didn't begin brilliantly, because I know Corfield went forward just trying to get the mile. I thought it was still terrific. I was surprised that Equator wasn't more positive. Yep. You know what I mean? Like a gay horse, tough, strong.
Well, welcome back to Flemington. We're about 15 minutes or so away from the running of the Wakeful Stakes, 10 minutes in fact, as we have a look at the markets for the event. Maze Dream is the favourite, 250, just out to 260. Arabian Gold just specced a little bit to beat Maze Dream, number 2, $7 into 650. Then number 4, Solicit.
2,000 metres. Gates are back and away they go. Star Fashion jumping well. In fact, a pretty even sort of a line. Refer got away quickly. Savannah Moon was up there. Here's Tear Gas coming over from an outside stall as they settle into stride. Maystream's gone back. She's got about 6 or 7 of them in front of her. So it's Star Fashion the lead, and Star Fashion is allowed to roll clear and led by about 3 lengths. Savannah Moon, a length and a half away came Refer. Tear Gas a further length and a half away is holding down fourth over on the outside of Solicit. A length further back is Arabian Gold, followed by Melaleuca. Wordplay down on the inside, and the yellow with the red cap. Behind her is Maze Dream, Every Faith, Gypsy Diamond, and 2 or 3 to Kiramosa at the tail. And it's been a pretty fast run race as the Wakeful field is making its way down towards the turn. Star Fashion at the 800 from Savannah Moon, Refer, and 2 lengths away. Then came Solicit holding down fourth placing. Then came Tear Gas to the outside, a couple to Wordplay, Melaleuca, and then Gypsy Diamond. Still Maze Dream spots a lead is about 10 lengths, but they've run it fairly solidly, and Every Faith is towards the end when they corner into the straight now, and it's Star Fashion who hasn't had her foot off the accelerator, leads by 3 lengths. Solicitors giving chase now. Refer boxing on from Tear Gas. Down the outside now is Arabian Gold and also Maze Dream trying to come home, but they come to the 200. Star Fashion, she's out cold on her feet, but she still leads by about a length and a half. Maze Dream and Kiramosa from the back, and Solicitors pushing through with Arabian Gold, but it's Kiramosa. She has the momentum out wide, and Kiramosa beats Maze Dream. Solicit might grab third. Up there is Arabian Gold and Star Fashion, who battled away pretty well, followed by Gypsy Diamond, Wordplay. They were followed by Melaleuca, and further back was Every Faith, Savannah Moon, Tear Gas, and Refer last home.
Wow, what a finishing burst there from Kiramosa. Number 7 down the outside for John Sargent and Tommy Berry. Lands in time to record a win by about a length and a half, I'd say, on the line. So quickly has she finished over the last 200.
I thought here, 2:5.15.
They went very slow. The first couple of furlongs, they were crawling.
And then really ran into it.
Then he started to let it.
Blokes favourite after that. We'll look at that market shortly. New Zealand bred all through here. Alamosa, the cycle. So Group 1 winner here in Australia for Johnny Sargent, Tommy Ripper. I think Nash Rawilla takes the ride. May's dream favourite. Gee, she's not much of her, and she goes around for sure. I think it should be a bit hard to retail in the market there.
She tried very hard yesterday, but she just found one better, and I think the others have sort of caught up to her. She might be the staying machine that have
down, but like there's no Samantha Miss, there's no standout, there's no Machine and those type of horses. Kira Mosa, you can't see anything beating there because she'll outstay all of those in an Oaks.
Well, just on the Wakefield history in the last 30 years, 29 winners have gone into the Oaks on the Thursday and 12 have won. It's a remarkable record. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious lead-in race as the Wakefield winner, but Arabian Gold, would it go?
Wakefield, I'm going to run a my colt.
As good as Oaks Trail as you'll see, and this is usually all she's got to do is go home and not sulk and eat a dinner and return in this form on next Thursday, and she'll be hard to beat.
She will be hard to beat. Star Fashion went out hard.
Yeah, she went out hard.
She went out hard. I thought they were brave tactics that didn't work.
Switched her on because she got out the back and did nothing at a previous start.
But I have to say, Kira Mosa, the pace was set up for something coming from the back, and if you didn't finish that race off, if you'd had a soft run early in the race, then you are no hope in the Oaks. And she did. She just rounded them up, and I thought she looked the obvious Oaks Trial. The only other ones that might beat her.
Around 7 minutes of betting time before the Lexus Stakes. An important race here for the Melbourne Cup picture. An important race in its own right on this day. It's often won by a horse that's in form, and we see a whole group of them that are vying for the victory here. Very open race, as we can see. There's been money for Collini, 650 out to 7 into...
Though is the market mover and clear-cut favourite. Collini is second favourite, specking for Rossello down the bottom.
Well, we're 2 minute race through.
They're away, and Collini jumps well down towards the inside. Motivato alongside of him was a bit slow, and he's going out the back early. And coming over My Quest for Peace, and Rossello's up towards the leaders. And also Let's Make a Deal. So it's a bit of a charge down towards the front. Ethiopia's gone back. He's third from last as they go to the 2,200 metres, and Rossello, who they announced wanted ridden for cover, has worked over and found the lead. He might want a hand up here. My Quest for Peace is moving up strongly. He gets up into second placing as the field stretches. Is Areldo trying to sneak runs from Julie Ennis and 2 lengths to Bass Straight, being followed by Mudra, 2 to Ethiopia. And Bakira is still a couple of lengths away. So it's Rossello in front of the 800 in the Lexus from My Quest for Peace. Let's Make a Deal. Collini's had the nice run right behind them as they're swinging around the turn. Einstein and the blue taking off right around them as they sweep up towards the turn. Kingdoms is going with him as well. They're sweeping up towards the turn and they're bunching as they swing around the bend. Let's Make a Deal goes to the lead with My Quest for Peace and still kicking on. Rossello along the rails when they're flattened in. Collini getting up on the inside. Then came Areldo starting to weave his way through. He's getting over heels of front runners. Rossello at the 300 from Let's Make a Deal. Areldo a bit green trying to get to them. And further back is Ethiopia. It's Rossello and Let's Make a Deal. Areldo his own worst enemy. Rossello a neck in front of Let's Make a Deal. Rossello really responding, doesn't he? Dig in. Rossello holding on and he won it by a neck. Let's Make a Deal. 2 to Areldo who refused to go straight. Ethiopia fourth, I'd say, from Kingdoms and Guru down on the inside and close up.
There you go. The Lexus Stakes goes to England and it goes to Rossello and the Newmarket stables of young trainer Ed Walker. He spent a lot of time with Luca Kamani. He's out on his own now and he's doing a good job. And he gets the victory here with Rossello, his first horse that he has toured in his own right to Australia.
Of his prep, I would say. The numbers officially are 15, 11, 6 and 1. And there was good money for him. He won.
Drinks Connections decided to take the chance this year. 50 kilos, why wouldn't you? To run Rossello in the Melbourne Cup, and Chad Schofield takes a ride. Michael Walker fined 1,500 for excessive whip use on Let's Make a Deal. He said, I'm just trying to get this horse into the Melbourne Cup. That holds no water for the stewards. Areldo in all the way down the running there. It's a bad sign for mine with Ethiopia
as well yesterday. Ethiopia, so look, he's not a perfect horse, but he was that was his best run of the prep yesterday.
Wouldn't have won, but I tell you what went outstanding was Motivato in the green colours, back along the right, last on the fence. Froggy's on board, just doesn't get out.
Sandown Cup, I reckon.
Sandown Cup.
The two.
Yeah, that'll be. It's
money guessing. 2 miles.
Fantastic race.
Start of the Group 1 showcase here with the Coolmore Stud Stakes. 1,200 metres where we see the $14 million Colt Zoostar go around as an even money favourite or thereabouts. We can see the markets now for the Coolmore Stud Stakes. And number one, Zoostar is the favourite. $1.90 out to $2.05, around about $2 on the tote. Number 9, Missy Longstocking. She's such a good filly. $9 and rock solid second. Well, absolutely. And there's so much been made of Zoostar and his price tag during the week. A $14 million sale price. There's another $2 or $3 million in a bonus if the horse is able to win today for the owners that have just sold to Widden Stud. But in all the chat about the money and those astronomical figures, we do lose sight of the fact that Jimmy Cassidy is on the cusp of a fantastic career achievement. Horses are starting to load into the barriers now. Let's go to Greg Miles for this important race to see if Jimmy Cassidy can bring up the ton.
Zoostar pretty relaxed. Here to go. Racing now. And Zoostar seemed to jump away a little bit awkwardly and from his position, and Thump was away with a blinder, and she's spearing out looking for the early lead. As they settle into stride down on the inside, Sidestep and Divine Calling had jumped away well. And Not Listening to Me's prominent as well. A clear big bang is in behind the leading bunch, and also Line of Pulpit. Fast and Rocking closer to this division in the pink cap, not far away from the lead, which Thump is setting at the moment. They're being followed Thermal Current over on the outside, and Missy Longstocking. Zoostar's the deepest runner, and Villaverde's on his inside. So they're coming past the 600. Sidestep close to the inside, has it from Divine Calling. Not Listening to Me, and a clear big bang. Up the middle of the course is Fast and Rocking, Thump, Thermal Current, and Zoostar is starting to be called on by Cassidy, the widest runner, and then came Missy Longstocking. They're down towards the 200, and Sidestep giving a good sight, but he's all out. Here's Zoostar starting to hit top gear, and Villaverde's coming, and Not Listening to Me as well, but it's Zoostar with 100 metres to go, got the Sidestep, and Jimmy's got his 100, and Zoostar won by 2 lengths. Second, Not Listening to Me, Line of Belfort storms home. I think he grabbed third. Sidesteps up there for fourth, and a photo with Thermal Current and Villaverde out wider. They were followed further back then by Thump, who weakened out in a clear big bang. Missy Longstocking didn't come on. She's finished back in the ruck in company with Fast and Rocking and also Divine Calling.
Well, congratulations, Jimmy Cassidy. There it is, Group 1, number 100. What a milestone for one of Australia's favourite jockeys. A fantastic career, and he celebrates Group 1, number 100 with a horse that he has said pretty much all spring is the best colt that he has ever ridden. And he's ridden some damn good ones. Zoostar, number 1. And Jimmy Cassidy just sat quietly. He knew Zoostar was there, and he knew that he was going to drop like that and really put that race to bed.
Very, very ever really. And you're doing the elite group. Yeah, look, magnificent to be in the group with Roy and George Moore. Look, I owe it to the pumper team. My wife, my 3 girls, Nicole, Sasha and Piper, Malcolm and Longy. Without them, I couldn't have done it, mate. So all the owners and trainers that have supported me, I thank them straight like a machine today. I've been driving around the Jeep Lexi, but I tell you what, it's got some one hell of an engine, this place. And it's got a hell of a rider too.
Before we talk about that wonderful horse, what about that wonderful rider? That's a fantastic achievement from him.
Yeah, it's hard to take the moment away from Jimmy, and he's been a big help to me, and he's been a big help to a lot of trainers, and I feel very privileged to be part of his career.
You were running effectively for $4.3 million today. What's your overriding emotion at the moment? Is it relief that it's all over?
Yeah, relief. Put the money aside. It's simply, yeah, he's got the crown, I think, of being the best 3-year-old in the country. And he's defended it up the straight. It didn't look pretty 8 days ago when he had his jump out. He worked well Tuesday morning, and there's been a sale on the table, and you got no idea how many things go on with a sale at that expense. But to the horse's credit, he's coped with it all. He's had vet examinations. He's had reproductive organs checked at the lot. Hasn't batted an eyelid right up till...
Back to where it all started for Jimmy Cassidy 30 years ago. Group 1, number 100 by Northern Meteor, who won the race himself, the Coolmore Stud Stakes, and now his son, who was a $14 million purchase during the week, $4 million on top of that, and a bit more to come perhaps for the new connections. Great result. Dominant victory. An interesting race to watch from his perspective. He carries his head a bit awkward there, Chris.
Yeah, he's got a different action, but gee, when the pressure goes on, it just flattens out like a gazelle. I suppose.
Jimmy never pulled the whip.
No.
Oh, there we are. Sorry.
And he's just a true professional. The horse, can't say anything more.
Well, let's go back, Chris. When he won the Golden Rose, the normal progression and the one.
Obviously, it opens up the possibility of Royal Ascots next year and things like that. Obviously, enormous value as a dual hemisphere stallion.
My word, Mick. No, it'd be a dream to take a horse over there, and I think we've got the right horse to go there. He's just as I said before, the temp.
Dead heat between horse and jockey here. Look, he'd had a few knockers with his jump out the previous Friday. It was pretty lacklustre, but Chris Wales horses can do that.
Someone was still happy to pay 14 million for him.
Yeah, exactly, with an incentive of another 4, I reckon, after this.
Yeah.
So, look, he's a brilliant colt. He's got magnificent acceleration, a turn of speed that's unmatched in racing. Not listening to me, he's all on his first prep just out of maiden class. He's a serious racehorse.
He could improve a lot to his next preparation.
For sure. But
that horse, I don't think that was the ideal spot for him to be in that race too. Sitting outside horses, out in his Pat Malone there. He got into a bit of a bumping duel. He had a great day, and the horse looked beautiful when presented too. The $4 million bonus jumped in, so that made it the biggest prize in Australian racing for any horse, I think, so far. That win there kicked more into the can than the winner of the Melbourne Cup will get.
Yeah.
To come before the Flemington Carnival is out. The McKinnon Stakes is upon us, just 13 minutes away. 2,000 metre weight for age race worth 1 million clams. Not bad, is it? The favourite for the race is number 6, Jet Away, $2.80 outs of $3. Carl, the Cranbourne Cup winner, has been back to $7 as we go to the preview.
So he has been well tried to beat this favourite, and he is the market mover for the McKinnon. Number 7, Pakal.
Interesting. I just watched it.
And away they go. Nice clean getaway by Jetaway, but Solzhenitsyn beat them out easily, and Pakal got away fast. Murian, as they suggested, he's going to roll forward. He's up attacking these front runners. Havastan getting over. Followed then in the field by Mr. Mowat and Side Glance. Dear Demi went back second last, and Moriarty brings up the rear. Solzhenitsyn for the time being is holding out Murian and had the lead. Not at a particularly strong gallop, led him by about a half a length at the moment. And Side Glance, not happy with that speed, is starting to work round the outside now for Jamie Spencer. He's a bit deep out, getting up to third. Jetaway enjoying a nice trail. He's fourth down on the inside, and one further back came Pakal. Havastan trapped a little bit deep there, and then came Dear Demi over on the inside, and back there with her is Mr. Mowat and Moriarty. So Side Glance has gone around the outside at a dawdling run, McKinnon, and takes up the running now just over a length to Solzhenitsyn and Murian on the outside. Next is a line of 3 with Havastan out wide. Followed by Pakal and Jetaway, just getting shuffled back a touch along the inside now. Mr. Mowat, Dear Demi and Moriarty at the tail of the field. They're running down the side. And it's Side Glance backing up from the Cox Plate in front. Murian up second, 3/4 away. Havastan's done it tough. Solzhenitsyn right behind them. Pakal's had a pretty good run in the race as they cornered. And Jetaway just looking for somewhere to get out now. He's back 3 deep along the inside. Mr. Mowat coming on. Dear Demi out the back with Moriarty going past her. So they're coming around the turn. It's Side Glance of Ustan going up on the outside. Murian in the centre. Mr. Mowat coming on 4 wide. Solzhenitsyn behind them. Jetaway threading through, and Pakal trying to find a way through as well. Side Glance gave a kick. He led by 2 lengths now. Mr. Mowat on the outside. Jetaway's in the clear. Down the outside, Moriarty. And behind them is Pakal still in some traffic. Side Glance out in front for Jamie Spencer, led by 2. Dear Demi rattling through on the inside. Mr. Moriarty's coming home on the outside, but it's Side Glance clear. Dear Demi flying along the fence, but Side Glance won it by a half a length to Dear Demi and Moriarty. Just behind those to finish in the race, Mr. Mowat and Pakal, and they got right away on Jetaway. And then Murian, Havastan, and the last is Solzhenitsyn.
Well, the English reign supreme again. We had Ed Walker win the Lexus with Rossello, and now we have Andrew Balding taking the Group 1 McKinnon Stakes with Jamie Spencer and Side Glance. Number 3, Side Glance, the winner of the McKinnon Stakes at 12.70.
Front, couldn't possibly beat it.
Of course, we've seen these colours, the yellow with the blue stars, worn to victory here at Flemington before, haven't we, with Junaden and Pearl Bloodstock and Sheikh Farhad take place in the Dubai World Cup, and now a McKinnon Stakes winner. Let's take in the full replay.
Spencer there for Sheikh Farhad. Side Glance, of course, bouncing back off the Cox Plate. Tremendous traveller, this horse. He'd been to Dubai, to America to Melbourne. Of course, in between that race back home towards the Melbourne Cup, if we look at its performance.
Unbelievable. To think that that was her 28th career start as a spring 4-year-old, and she's still racing at that level. And as we're watching the replay, Bruce, you said she ran in the gym crack.
Yeah.
And she's, here she is about to line up in a Melbourne Cup as a legitimate each-way chance.
And your horse, Chris Moriarty, ran tremendously well.
Yeah, he went very well, Bruce. He's done a great job the last couple of.
The internationals are here. The McKinnon Stakes going to Side Glance, trained by Andrew Balding. He's raced all over the world, this horse. England, Dubai, the USA. Now Australia. He's clocked some miles, hasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't run bad in the Cox Plate. And who would ever think that a pommy jockey would pull our jockey's pants down? Fair dinkum. There were some terrible rides in that race. Shockers. They gifted in the lead. They put no pressure on. It was like barrier trial speed. He let him prick his ears. He didn't panic when they moved up to him. He got the horse's ears pricked, and he says, just quicken up here and bye-bye.
See, there was one or two lovely cup trials here, in particular Dear Demi.
What was the cup trial? Look at her there on the fence in Singo's blue and white colours there, just getting the gap going back to the fence. Now, watch Chris Muntz over the last 100 metres. Yes, he's using the whip. I'm not sure how many times it's connected. I don't think it connected too many times, to be honest. She was doing her best. But there you go.
What about Jetaway? What happened to Jetaway?
Well, it's the classic case of we knew it had happened. He was just gutted in the Caulfield Cup. It's as simple as that. You would not see a tougher run than Jetaway had in the Caulfield Cup when he took off mid-race, and he's still nearly last man standing there. So I think that could gut him for the whole prep. Now I don't think he's going to be a force.
Yeah, you don't come back from that.
You don't come back from
I think he's done for this.
Well, the time has arrived. The race of the day, the Amy Victoria Derby, Australia's oldest classic race. It's about to get underway. It's an extremely open event this year, as you'll see as we take a look at the markets. Number 3, Savvy Nature, and number 4, Polanski are joint favourites at the moment on the fixed odds markets. $5 for the pair of them. Polanski just a shade shorter on the totes. Number 2, Complacent, the
market mover and clear-cut favourite for the Derby is Savvy Nature. A big go, $5 into 4.
Absolutely. And look, we saw the horse chase home Complacent at his last start in the Spring Champion Stakes, and he was also beaten before that in the Gloaming Stakes by Complacent. No match for the horse on that.
Set to Greg Miles to call the
Fast and leads. So Throw the King from Epic Saga and San Diego right up there on the steel. He's up there in third placing. And they're followed then by Famishon, who's going to settle fourth at the turn out of the straight. Thunder Fantasy ran wide, and so did Tips and Beers behind him. Honey Steele's Gold Positive just behind them. Savvy Nature's gone back in the field. He's settled with about 5 behind him, and Complacent has 3 behind him. So it is Throw the King who leads now to the Riverside. He opened up about 5 lengths, and out in front is Throw the King. He's 2 lengths on Tips and Beers. 2.5 lengths away, Epic Saga on the inside of San Diego. They're more than 2 lengths then on Honey Steele's Gold. And next on the outside then came Famishon. They're about 4 lengths on Polanski and 3 lengths to Thunder Fantasy. Pinstripe Lane, Savvy Nature at least a dozen off the leader. And behind him, Tupac Amaru brings something. Surging Wave, Complacent a minute back with Criterion and Drago. So they're coming up towards the home turn. Throw the King from Tips and Beers. Epic Saga's been with them all the way, and so too San Diego. Famishon turns 5th in the blue colours. Now they swing into the straight. Here's Polanski starting to come with his run, and hasn't he got something to give? And pulled out as Criterion and Complacent, and they're both running on strongly. Polanski raced to the lead. She's got there early. Here comes Complacent, Criterion, and further back is Thunder Fantasy. And down the outside was Drago. Polanski in front. Complacent a length and a half away. Then Criterion and Thunder Fantasy boxing on, but Polanski out in front and going strongly. He's 2 lengths in front of Complacent, and Polanski is too good for them in the Derby. Runs away a big staying win, and he wins it by 3 lengths. Complacent second, Thunder Fantasy's run third, Criterion 4, then Tupac Amaru, and they were followed by Drago. Bring something, and then came Surging Wave, Plenty Steele's Gold. Further back is the post, last home.
Listen, Huey Bowman's ridden 3 Derby winners in the last 4 years now. His wife, Christine, who works in racing, she's a TVN producer. She's 5 weeks away from giving birth. She's got permission to come down to the races today from Sydney. I'm pretty sure she'll be here. This is big stuff. I mean, Huey won the Derby in 2010 and 2011. He got on 3 out of 4. But Robbie Lang, I mean, father of 8, paid $4,000 for this horse and has all come home.
It's a wonderful story. There's Complacent out wide, missing the kick. He had to go immediately to plan B, Kieran McAvoy, and get back in the field. Polanski on the rails there. Beautiful ride from Huey. He just let the horse slide along, got in a nice spot there out of the gates.
Giving birth, Huey. So here's another winner for you, a Group 1.
Yeah, look, it's my third derby in
4 years.
4 years. So, look, I'd just like to give all the credit to Robbie Lang. And
absolutely bolting and peeled out, as Greg Miles said, went a long way from home, but gee, he had a lot of horse under him.
Were you saying to Huey at the top of the straight, count to 10, Huey, don't hit the front too early, or was he just travelling that well?
Well, Pete, as I said to Huey before the race, I had 45 rides for one win. Who am I to tell you anything? I said, you just go out there and do your own thing.
You've had some magnificent...
And then to Sydney, but surprised me when he thickens that he doesn't become a really good star of the turf.
The fairy tales come true, Robbie Lang.
He looked their way and he was cruising, he was cantering, he's got big odds. Criterion ran well also. If you back Savvy Nature, he was in trouble a long, long way from home. It's 4-2, 13-1. Polanski was outstanding. Let's hear from winning right.
He said, oh, please, it'll be a gap job. I told you before the race, you said it'll be a margin, and it was.
Yeah, probably hyping myself up a bit. Yeah. I had a lot of good mail on the Sydney Colts, and it was hard to draw a line between them because it wasn't a common horse that had run in Sydney and then come down to Melbourne. And his time was a lot better than the Spring Champion Stakes, and the sectional time people had him 1.5 lengths better than any other runner on Caulfield Cup Day. And I knew the horse had improved, so from barrier 1, he was going to be very hard to beat.
It was the strength that won him.
And he wins it by 3 lengths. Complacent second.
Oh, an absolutely dominant performance by the best 3-year-old stayer in the land there. Polanski giving Huey Bowman 3 of the past 4 by Racti out of Citrium. And if I just throw this straight away to Robbie.
Yeah, I had the Australian stud book on, and I went down to the 5th dam, and she was an American mare by a stallion called Clem, and he was by Shannon, the champion Australian miler. But the next dam, she was a New Zealand mare by Summertime, and her mother was by a stallion called Father's Son, who I'd never heard of. But I looked at the pedigree, and Father's Son was by Night Raid out of Entreaty. Oh, my God. Father.
Richie, if only
join us on Tuesday night. 7:30 for the story of Proper Bridge.
If only you'd known that, Richie, you would have had more on it, wouldn't you? The $4,000 from the Derby. Any sad tales here?
he didn't step that clean, so I just ended up riding him quiet. Got into a nice spot on the back of Savvy Nature, but interference near the 1800 metres or just past the 2000s put him in a terrible spot, and he was lucky to stay on his feet. So the horse done a fantastic job to run second.
Ran terrific. In the market there, they sent him out at $5.50 over Complacent and Thunder Fantasy. He is trained, of course, by Robbie Lang, who's joining us from Flemington.
Less horses in training. So, look, there'll be a lot of $4,000 horses bought that won't make it. But the romance for this horse, it's been a fairy tale. And it looks like he's a really good horse. I don't think it'll just stop at the Derby. Hugh Bowman said to me last night, he said, Don't hammer him in the autumn. He said he'll win a Caulfield Cup for you, this horse.
Look at all the owners going off. Now, I know you weren't there. You were in the trainers area with about half of it.
Complacent.
Look, I thought he was very, very good. Take nothing away from the winner. He's the best horse in the race on the day. But Complacent's done it all on one preparation. There was a mix-up in the race. There was interference. And look, I thought he was brave making a long run, as was Criterion, who got shut out of it early and got too far back, and he had to make an 800-metre run as well. But all honours with the winner. He was good, Complacent. It could be a star of the future. Thunder Fantasy's run the race of his life, and Criterion was good. The flop of the race was the other fancy runner pulling out of the race is Savvy Nature.
I think you'll find that he'll pull up with a problem, Savvy Nature. He's a better horse than that. This is the part I liked about Polanski here. The last 50 metres, he's getting away again on the whole field. So he's a really strong stay. I agree with you about Complacent. He hit the running rail over at the 2,000-metre mark. He nearly went through the running rail. It was really severe interference, and he didn't want to be back there anyway. The horse half missed the start, and he had to go immediately, I think, to plan B, which was to ride the horse back, and then everything went wrong from there. So he is a very nice stayer, and I think he's going to make a really good horse. Yes, there were a couple of reasonable runs behind too, but the top two, they're the two horses going forward that I'll be excited to see in the autumn.
It's the third Group 1 race that we have today. The next race, race 7 here, the Maya Classic, is the fourth of the Group 1s, and it is a fantastic contest. We get to see a Red Tracer go around again. Chris Waller's star mare. She's on the drift, on course. She opened at 280. She got out to 330, and just as I say that, back into $3.20. She is the favourite from number 2, Fire Up Fifi, 6 to 650. Flavour of the day. Quite a few horses around that 11. And the other Waller train runner, $9 out to 10 for Catkins, back in to $9. Sam Highland, what was your yard, Floria?
330 was the peak about her. She was pushed into $3, just comes back out marginally to 310. Bit of money late for the one.
Group 1 for the mares. They're off. Fire Up Fifi jumps well down on the inside. Red Tracer began very quickly and she's scooting over with Cameo. And Red Tracer went over and found the lead pretty quickly. Catkins keeps her honest early and drives on and goes to the lead. Cameo third, Benaria fourth. Fire Up Fifi the grey fifth on the inside, followed by last of all. Now Red Tracer kicks up and now You're So Good kicked around the outside, but it's Catkins who leads. You're So Good second. Red Tracer, oh, she just wanting to over race a bit third there. A length and a half in front of Cameo. Floria the outside. Fire Up Fifi's enjoying a good run. A length in front of Shani Rose, followed by Benaria down on the inside. Malta Bene starting a deep run from Zonza and Zurella. Xanadu, Ava's Delight, and Thy Last of All. On the run to the turn, Catkins is the leader from You're So Good on the outside, and Floria's gone up and made a line of 3 coming around the home turn. Red Tracer just in behind them trying to find her way through. In the meantime, Shani Rose has put in a dash out wider. Fire Up Fifi making ground along the inside. Down towards the 300. Catkins a length in front from Red Tracer, staying in behind for as long as possible. Now Nash eases over heels. Fire Up Fifi runs on, and then Shani Rose. Catkins in front. Red Tracer, her moment here with 100 metres to go. Catkins 3/4. Red Tracer's answering. She's gradually getting there. Red Tracer down to Catkins, and Red Tracer had nailed it. She's beaten Catkins right on the line. 2 lengths to Fire Up Fifi. Thy from last has run on to photo finish for fourth with Floria and Zurella. Shani Rose next over, followed by Zonza, You're So Good, Montabene. Behind them is Benaria Delight and Xanadu.
Well, Red Tracer, the Waller team dominates the Maya Classic. It gobbles up Catkins and right on the line sticks her neck out. She got the bob in. She was behind just before the line. She was behind again just after the line. She got out to $3, which was a very backable price for a mare of her quality. And tell you what, they've dominated the race. 1 from 3 with number 10, Catkins. She's a fantastic mare. And her time will come at Group 1 level. I don't doubt that at all.
No doubt.
On a 7-day backup, and she'd only just been...
Yourself as a trainer, Chris, when 2 of your horses get locked in battle to the line there, and whatever the best horse on the day wins, and yesterday it was Red Tracer.
Yeah, it was, Bruce. Yeah, 2 very good mares. One of them's a 4-year-old just starting her career, as I would say. And Red Tracer, she's just gone to a new level in the past 6 months. And again, yesterday winning at the mile for the first time. So very proud of both horses, and I've got no doubt Catkins is the next Red Tracer.
The funny thing is, Chris, I know I probably sound silly saying it.
What a fantastic mare. She's won 14 races now. She's won over $2 million in prize money. And she added another big one yesterday with the Maya Classic.
Wow, what can you say? She's just an absolute ripper. There was a doubt on her big track mile form leading into the race. Like, she had a few failures at Flemington at the mile and also Randwick at the mile, but she just stalked a stablemate here. It was terrific tactics by both, first and second. They read the play beautifully. There was no speed in this race. They slowed up. They made the race their own, and it's just the best man or best girl home here, and she just oozes that little bit of class.
She does. If it was a handicap, she'd have been giving most of that field 2 and 3 kilos in weight at least, maybe, and a lot more to some of them. And she was meeting them basically level weight. So, she was thrown in those conditions. They're perfect for great mares like her. But one thing that did worry me in the
competitive events. The first of those is the Yellow Glen Stakes over 1,200 metres at Group 2 level, a handicap for the sprinters. And this is a very, very open race. Number 11, Shamar Wind. I think punters are remembering her brilliant victory here on Oaks Day last year. She's the 6th.
Ricardo's 21 into 17. Rock solid favourite is still Shamar Wind at 650, but nothing in this worthy of being a clear-cut market mover.
And away they go. Sharmal Wind, one of the first to break the line. Spirit of Boom got away well. Hot Schnitzel bounced out of the stalls fast. And going forward now to take over the running is Steps in Time as they settle into stride. And going with it is Chiara Monte in the black cap. It's right with the leading bunch. And over near the inside, SA Raider from Night Exemplar. Bonetta in behind those horses. Fontalina's getting a nice trail with Hot Schnitzel in the red colours over on the outside as they went by the 800-metre mark. Back behind them, Sharmal Wind is working into it about 6 or 7 lengths away from the leading bunch of horses, followed by Caracatus in some traffic. Hot L's well back near the inside. Rarefied's in traffic as they came down the 400 metres, and Spirit of Boom is out wider. It Steps in Time, giving a big sight at the 300, led by 2.5 Night Exemplar, followed by Chiara Monte, SA Raider. Rarefied coming, and Spirit of Boom is coming. Sharmal Wind was struggling. Steps in Time came back. Here they come, and it's Rarefied. Fontalina bursting through, and Spirit of Boom. Fontalina's hit the front from Rarefied and Spirit of Boom, and Fontalina goes back to back in the Yellow Glen. Won it by a length to either Spirit of Boom or Rarefied. Close up, Lonspresso finished hard, and Caracatus. Longport put in the big bounce out wide when it was all over, followed by Steps in Time, Sharmal Wind, Hot Schnitzel, and back behind those was Albrecht.
He's a racehorse, isn't he? He's just a proper sprinter. 1,200, 1,400 metres, that's his go. Number 4, Fontalina. 12.80 and 4.10. Number 1, Spirit of Boom at 3.10. And number 5, Rarefied at $9.
What a play link to either Spirit of...
That's a tremendous training performance by Anthony. 57 kilos yesterday, so needed to be better, and he was yesterday. Fontalina, Spirit of Boom, just a fantastic straight horse, and Rarefied ran best of the 3 Darleys at the longest odds of those.
Spirit of Boom loves the straight to run a place. I think that's 4 out of 7 goes, and it's run a place for Tony Gollan, but yeah, well done. And Peter Rabel too. As good a blokes as all the jockeys are, Peter Rabel's just a good country boy. Just he's a good bloke, and he deserves all the success. No one works harder than him, and no one smokes more than him. And
what, Peter Moody included?
Oh no.
He's got Moody covered.
He put one out as the gates opened.
Couple of Race 9, the lucky last here on Derby Day 2013, the tab.com.au Stakes Group 3, 1,400 metres. I tell you what, in the past, this race has been a decent guide to the Emirates Stakes. So keep a very...
And away they go, and Mick Mac jumped away okay on the inside. Riva Delago being grabbed hold of by Cassidy goes right back. And British General's away quickly. He's going to try and carve over and find the lead. He's working, but he's getting over there to lead from Mick Mac. And Mr. Milton was away fast, and he's moved cover, followed by Out of Cuba. Well back in the field then is Galar, so it's up ahead of it. Lune running about 7th on the rails. Strike the Stars, Riva Delago and Smoke and Joey towards the end. So it is British General leading Mr. Milton, Centennial Park deep, and Mick Mac right behind them, 4th the inside. Followed Atlantish Lad and Eximius when they swing around the turn, and then Out of Cuba, Lune, who's buried away on the rails, is now round the outside comes Galar with his run, and Smoke and Joey the deepest. In the straight, it's British General narrowly from Mr. Milton. Mick Mac right behind them. Eximius next. Centennial Park. And Smoke and Joey's continuing his run down the outside, on the outside of Galar. British General went inside the 200 metres, but Smoke and Joey out wide. He's raced up and he's hit the front. Smoke and Joey drawing a length and a half in front now from Galar. Strike the Stars running on, but Smoke and Joey first up for the stable. Wins it by 2 to either Galar or Strike the Stars. Not much in that. Out of Cuba made some late ground. He might be 4th, although Lune's close up the inside. Followed British General, Outlandish Lad, Centennial Park, Riva Delago, Mr. Milton, Mick Mac towards the end in company with Eximius.
Has smoked them here at 40 to 1 for Chris Simons down the outside. He's got that sort of ability on his day. I could not have seen that coming, though. That was a big win, and it was easy on the line as you see Chris Simons just go across and give a bit of a wave and a flourish of that.
I can't see the time. But there he is.
123.47, I'd say that is, or something quite like it anyway.
Monster, 52,941. And after the quad he started.
Well, that just shows what a good trainer wears is, or the time and effort he can put into a horse who needs a bit of time and effort. And Smoke and Joey back to his best there yesterday. That was an extraordinary performance. The more you look at it, you just got to say, and broke 34 in doing it from a bad gate, getting back. I know he had cover, but oh, gee, that was a win, Shark.
Absolutely fantastic finish. That with him. Smoke and Joey had his very, very best. So good on Wes Hunter for getting the horse back to that sort of form. Galar was Galar running another place and doing his best. Strike the Stars was good, though. He was very good from the back of the field. I thought British General was pretty ordinary.
No,
That's his track and trip.
Two pulled up there in the market with issues. British General and Eximius were scoped, and they both found to have mucus. So
there's your excuse. He's a much better horse than that. And of course, Mick Mac didn't help himself by going off as an 8-year-old in the barriers before the race.
Plenty of, I think there's only 5 in this race we haven't seen race, which is interesting so far. You would think there'd be a lot more than that. 5 in Australia, that is.
And you got to meet your man with Brown Panther yesterday, Michael Owen?
Oh, and using it too, Rich. He's spreading the message through.
He was out tweeting about the horse's progress the other night, and this horse means so much to him. It's his first really good horse, and he's had a heap of thrills with it. He's in love with the horse when you hear him talk about it.
Greg Carpenter can back this up off rating. This is the best Melbourne Cup field. We saw it a couple of years ago when Merricane was able to win. That was the best we've seen, but by gee, this is a fantastic field.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty strong. The depth there is just extraordinary.
Man Athol starts calling people mate and just can't believe. He said, this is the biggest sporting event in the world. And he's raced his horses all over the world.
And we get down to the second page of the...
And they got Red Cadeau, who Aussie people are now getting familiar with, Red Cadeau.
On the Zimmer frame tour.
And he just keeps on performing. Placed in the Tenno Show, placed in the Dubai World Cup, won the Hong Kong Vars. Wherever he goes, he performs.
For Gerald, back in 2011, and of course 8th in the race last year against a very slow tempo. He was good there. Here's Ed Dunlop.
Secretly, I mean,
since last year, and it doesn't bother him, does it? He must have a great constitution.
Doesn't bother him. He's won a Hong Kong Vars, second in the Dubai World Cup, and as today proved, Side Glance finished 4th in that. So the form is right if the horse is right. So, but he loves
getting us.
Truth, he's the only bet I've had so far in the Cup, although he's not in my top 4 or 5 numbers. I think 66 to 1 is absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
He's a globetrotter. He's a big time performer. Who just, every time he gets in and another one, he just got back in that ruck last year when it wasn't a contest. No speed in the race. And look, I'm not saying no to him. Like I say, I've already had a little spec on him because I think he's a 30 to 1 chance, not a 60 to 1 chance.
I agree with that.
Martin, here he is in Japan in the Tenno Show earlier this year. He's been everywhere, this horse.
He has, yes, taken connections all around the world, and it's been a grand servant. He's won over £3 million in prize money, which, given our UK levels, is an astonishing.
Bronte, this is the favourite for the Emirates Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, of course, runner-up in the race last year. Oliver with a great record in the race, and Gay, well, trying to win her first major. She's showing everything at a Melbourne Cup. She's got club.
Yeah, he ticks a lot of boxes, doesn't he? He was second in the race last year. His form is terrific through the Turnbull and the Cox Plate. You've got fabulous gait for him, and he's got a guy who probably rides Melbourne Cups as well as any jockey that has ever lived. The upbuster he had in the Cox Plate, and he really had a workout.
I'll give you the contrary line to that is that Tommy Berry rode this horse in track work on Thursday morning. The first time he's ridden him since up in Randwick, and he said the horse is coming out of that run. You wouldn't believe. He was bouncing. He said he was squealing. He said that told him that the horse hasn't taken any setback from that run. And
AD, and as my point,
that was a big run in the Cox Plate, Ron.
There's nothing wrong with his form. He's been good since last year. No knock at all. Beautiful barrier, good jockey, well trained. Doesn't seem to have had a hiccup for 12 months. I don't know why.
Picking the horse up on the line, he was going to the line well again. I think everything points to him being a red hot chance in the race.
Yeah, red 5th in the Melbourne Cup. He's number 15 this year. They've bought an Australian jockey to take them out this year. Has the same weight as he carried last year. He was the best of the last year Melbourne Cup runners for mine who didn't win it because he was so far against the temp horse.
I thought his run last year was the best. Yep. I think he should have won.
Very good.
If he'd drawn a barrier, I would have made a declaration. The barrier's the concern, but you've got a bloke who's a superstar on board, Craig Williams, and that's why he's one of the top picks.
And that's his own.
Don't ignore the obvious. Toronto's form has been fabulous. Great run in the Cox Plate. Second in line.
Going for a combination of in-form horses, trainers and riders. On top is Seville. I think he's just been primed beautifully espoused.
Richard Callender.
Well, I'm going to stick with Mount Athos. Getting it out to big odds because of the bad barrier. It comes here in good form. I thought it loved its last run. We know it's in 6:21 for me.
Michael Sharkey.
Thank you, Bruce. Seville on top for me. Second year import and good run in the Cox Plate. We saw that work with
And my selection for the Melbourne Cup, not too dissimilar to Sharks, but I've got Verema clearly on top here. I think she's well weighted. It's a handicap event, and I think she's come here in the peak of form for the Aga Khan to win.
Dear Demi for me. I think she's had a lovely preparation. That was a lovely cup trial in the McKinnon Stakes on Saturday. Nice lightweight on her back. Mount Athos, Dandino.
Athos, I think Mount Athos is the winner. I know he's drawn awkwardly, but he's going to need luck. Verema, the French filly, she'll be there. Simonon, I think it could have heaps of other numbers, but they're the four.
Well, I could have gone with all of those ones that you blokes have tipped, but I've gone with Dandino because I just, seeing is believing. That Caulfield Cup run was a beauty.
Well, well done both to Duffy and to Richard as well, getting a Euro winning the Cup. For me, it's got to be Mount Athos. He probably should have won last year. His training this year has been better than ever. He's gone in on the same weight again. You've got a local jock on board. Okay, draw not ideal, but everything is right for this horse. Royal Empire.
Matt, you joined the party as well. How in the hell none of you have mentioned Fiorente has got me blown away. It'll be winning the Melbourne Cup. Fiorente, Mount Athos, Dandino, Dear Demi, and Lloyd, I know you're watching. I think
a bit of form here. I like Simonon here, number 19, an imported horse. He's good run at Caulfield. They tend to improve their next run. The horse that beat him at Caulfield, second pick, Sea Moon, two horses that like firm going. And the two horses, yes, Matty, Royal Empire, the horse you're talking about there, 26 into 21. Since the show started, a bet of 2,000 at the 26 and 2,300 at $23. But Fiorente still favourite for the Cup on Tuesday at $7. Mount Athos $8.50. Dandino's.
I don't parade race, and it's not the best race. This is the best race we produce every year, and the field this year is outstanding. I think it's nearly the deepest field I've ever seen go around in the Melbourne Cup. I can make a case for all but a handful of runners in it. And I don't think I've ever been able to say that before. And even the horses with international form, a lot of the times you could rule out some crappy international form, bringing things down here that, winning 4-mile races on bog tracks and that. They'll never win here. They don't bring them anymore. So they bring horses with the capability of winning this race. They've got it right, the internationals, and I reckon they might have it right again this year.
We've got plenty of insight into the international horses this morning because Martin Kelly.
Matt, you joined the party as well. How in the hell none of you have mentioned Fiorente has got me blown away. It'll be winning the Melbourne Cup. Fiorente, Mount Athos, Dandino, Dear Demi, and Lloyd, I know you're watching. I think
a bit of form here. I like Simonon here.
Hawkspur and Dear Demi all at $16. Race 7 at Fleming.
Brown Panthers certainly there in the mix, and Valouz de Coeur $17. So you'll do well to find the winner, as you always will every year, Hainsey.
What a race. What a race. And the second pick is Dandino at $11. So they're the main two on the front page. 4 Seamoon at $12. And he's been 12 into 11 on track. Ethiopia won. They took long lots about him yesterday. He's been on the drift now on the tote at $20. This third set of 8 got Valouz de Coeur 17, Hawkspur 16, Simonon 17. Ibachenko backed at big odds yesterday at the call of the card at 61. Verema 16. Dear Demi 21. Trey Blue 21. And Russell, what's he think can win?
Not in the Melbourne Cup, Bossy, but which one would you like to be on if you could get one?
Oh, it's hard to ignore Fiorente's form, to be honest. You look at all the horses and you find ways that you don't like them or you want to get them beat somehow. But Fiorente, you can't find many bad marks beside his name. He's got, he's been well presented every time he's gone to the races, and I thought his last run on the Cox Plate was real good, which has become a very important lead up now towards the Melbourne Cup. So good draw, good jockey, great trainer, a lot going for it.
What's the key?
4 of them, and when you first pick.
A tough, great race. Looking forward to it. For the record, look, I think you should back your own judgment, have a bit of fun. But I'm with Mount Athos over Seville.
Cut at 750 into 7, 750 into 7 in the last few minutes for number 6, Fiorente. He'll start favourite for the 2013 Melbourne Cup. I wouldn't.
Set. And they're off now. Fiorente, Dandino jump away well. Verema got out quickly and Durnadin jumped nicely down on the inside. Seville's prominent. Faulkner just in behind them in the early part. Green Moon on the improve and coming over Dear Demi. From wide out, there's Hawkspur going up and also Ibasenko. And Rossello's on the move across too with Trey Blue and Mount Athos settling just off the leading bunch of horses. Faulkner's gone right back. He's settled down last of all. So down towards the 2,700 metres now. And Rossello from wide out and Trey Blue are going up with Brown Panther. They're the 3 early leaders. Dear Demi just in behind them, followed by Hawkspur. Green Moon's got over onto the rails, followed closely by Ibasenko. Mad Athos a little bit wide from Super Cool. Seville's down on the inside, followed by Murian on the outside of Dunaden and Red Cadeau. Simonon Dandino, and they're followed then as they go down past the judge, then by Fiorente in the middle. A length and a half to Verima, being followed by Mask Marvel, and behind that one then came Valeurs de Coeur. They're being followed then by Royal Empire on the inside from Ethiopia, Fortella. They're being followed by Seamoon right back at the end, and Faulkner was last of all. So they're making their way along the side of the course now, and Rossello makes play. Trey Blue is up there in second placing as they run up the side. Brown Panther with a nice trailers down third on the inside. About a length and a half further back in the field, then Dear Demi, who's along the inside rail, and over on the outside, in a prominent placing, Green Moon, and Faulkner on the outside of those, and they're being followed then by, behind those, Mad Athos has slid around the outside, and he's got up into about fourth placing. Followed by Murian, and back behind him, Seville on the inside from Ibasenko. Red Cadeau's on a very wide move, followed by Dandino as they go to the 1400. Simonon was next in the field, being followed by Super Cool, and then came Royal Empire, who's got away from the rail. Valeurs de Coeur, Ethiopia, Dandino the rail. Then came Mask Marvel, still well back. In the field came Sea Moon, and behind him is Fortella, and Faulkner's last of all. Rossello the leader, about 1,100 metres left to go in the cup. It's Rossello leading by a length and a half to Trey Blue, Brown Panther, and Mad Athos in fourth placing. Closely being followed by Dear Demi on the inside, and Murian commencing a move. Then came Red Cadeau, Hawkspur, Green Moon the fence from Super Cool Ibasenko. Then Seville strung up for a run on the inside as Simonon goes around the outside with Fiorente, and Ethiopia putting in runs as they sweep down towards the home turn. Well back, shuffle back was Seville. Dandino's amongst the end. Dunaden is back there with him as they come around the turn. Faulkner's made ground. He's gone right to the outside, and Seamoon is coming with him into the straight now, and Red Cadeau and Simonon race up and go to the lead from Mount Athos down on the inside. They're followed by Fiorente starting to come home hard, and then came Super Cool and Faulkner down the outside. Red Cadeau tackled by Fiorente. Mad Athos kicking back on the inside. It's Fiorente in front on the outside with Red Cadeau. Fiorente and Red Cadeau from Mad Athos. Fiorente just in front of Red Cadeau, who's coming back. Fiorente by a neck. Oliver's lifting him, and Fiorente won the Melbourne Cup for Gay. Red Cadeau second, Mad Athos third. Simonon Red fourth, and Dandino fifth. They're followed by Ethiopia, Faulkner, Valeurs de Coeur, and Brown Panther from Super Cool. Further back in the field to finish then Dunaden, and they're followed by Seville, Ibasenko, and behind them is Seamoon, and then Murian, Hawkspur, followed by Fortella, Dear Demi, Royal Empire, Never a Chance, Marks Marvel back towards the end. Dunaden is back in that bunch. A long break in the field then to Green Moon, Trey Blue, and Rossello, one of the last home in the Melbourne Cup. Now Red Cadeau and Simonon race, and Rossello, one of the last home in the Melbourne Cup.
So where do you start? Is it Damien Oliver? Everything he's been through in the last 12 months? And a third, or is it Gay? Everything she's been through. Her dad won too. She's the first female Australian to train the winner of the great race. Or what about the horse? Second last year to come back and do it again. Empire Rose and Gold and Black. It's so hard to do. There she is, the first lady of racing in the world, conquers the biggest mountain imaginable by winning her first Emirates Melbourne Cup.
Yeah. Well, it's just amazing. I'm so rapt that I could be a part of Gay's first one. She's done so much for racing, and it's a great honour for me to help bring home her first one.
Damien, it's always a satisfaction of, having, won a race with some of the big trainers, isn't it, as well? And Gay, as you know, she's been very loyal to you. Sure, a lot of...
So now we're going to go the full replay.
Your biggest moment. What about that?
Sydney, right in the until he got back to about 12th, and it was quite a solidly run race. And then he just kept trekking up, and it was just fantastic. It was a dream come true. I'm so thrilled for all the owners. I'm so thrilled for all the people that come.
Walk down from the members' stand where you watched the race, and the crowd just stood and applauded as you walked down. You mean a lot to Australian racing.
racing, and I love people being involved with it. And no one does it better than the VRC promoting the Melbourne Cup. And what a fabulous race! It's a race that stops the nation. Isn't it nice to have a favourite that can do that?
And you've been so close.
Who loves the stage was perhaps blown away by what winning the Melbourne Cup meant and what the aftermath means, Rich, isn't it? With the intense media focus on the winner.
Yeah, just reward for Gay. She's been so close so many times. Sometimes it's felt like racing's piggybacked off Gay's notoriety and popularity amongst the Australian public, and for her to get the Melbourne Cup. I'll have a couple of things to say later about another matter with Gay, but yeah, fitting for her to win the Melbourne Cup, and the way she handled the media and everything, and was so open to everyone. It was great.
Best day, no doubt. Great. Red Cadeau, unbelievably brave.
Matt Athos was terrific. He didn't have much luck in the early stage.
Tactics were interesting, and Craig had a plan, be positive. Simonon ran well for the international, so did Brown Panther, who got
fantastic as well. Yeah.
The quote of the whole went to Ryan Moore, who rode Dandino, so he didn't run the 2 mile out. That's him in the green flying.
A different idea of what strength at 2 miles is. He
should have been. He got into a bad spot from where he drew.
He did. There it is, though. Fiorente, second in the Melbourne Cup last year, coming out. And Empire Roses to do it, win it the following year. He's an entire, but the world beckons him now.
Well, all the chatter during the week in the lead up was that it's very hard to come back the next year and win the race. And the first 3 over the line all ran last year.
Well, I know you're going to play
a little bit below par.
In just a moment, but Fiorente had run a big race in the Cox Plate, and Gay had him absolutely spot on for the Cup on Tuesday.
Perfectly trained horse. He just had the ideal preparation. He's been nurtured for one race, set for one race, and it all paid dividends. And he's a very, very good horse as well. And what a ride he got. What a ride he got. There wasn't a better ride over the Carnival than that. He left him alone. I love the fact that he left him alone. He's never been a good barrier horse, and you can't drive them horses mad. And Damien had done his form here and knew what he was following, and a marvellous ride.
This is like one of Glenn Boss's rides on Mackay Diva.
Yes,
they're that good, those rides, and they win the race for the horse because
there's no one without it.
Well, there's probably 4 or 5 horses in that race who could have won the race, but Damien and Fiorente did because he simply had the right horse under him, but gave it the peach ride. And it's a beautiful exercise in timing and touch. And well done. And we've said that. But I tell you, there were a couple of rides in it. Ryan Moore, why do you draw barrier 4 and end up last on the corner on Dandino? Look at Dandino in the lime colours here, the black horse in the lime colours hitting the line. That is just unbelievable. And, I thought that Faulkner ran on pretty well too because he came from the same position. Not quite as well as Dandino, but there you go. But I'm looking forward to seeing Fiorente in weight for age races. I think he's definitely a weight for age horse. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Dandino.
Yeah, look, just a few observations there. I thought Red Cadeau, he deserves a special mention.
And Mount Athos.
Mount Athos had to be ridden 2 lengths closer than he wanted to, but he had to because he wanted to get fine
very
position.
brave.
And Simonon was good. And look, and I concede.
Moore was on. We'll have to get a local jockey on Dandino next year. By the way, guys, Fiorente, who did tip it on top last week?
I don't know. Did anyone tip it?
No, it's certainly me.
I quite liked it. I got the first 4.
Sorry, I did. I just remembered that I did. In fact, you guys didn't even put Fiorente in the top 4.
I'll lap it up for another year.
Well, clearly I put it in the top 4. You can't get the first 4 without it. I only got.
No, well, you didn't though.
I did get the first 4.
He boxed 12 horses.
Retro last week, you didn't.
He boxed 12 horses.
$20. Matt Athos and Dandino will clash in Hong Kong in the Vase. Craig Williams yet to determine which way Dino. Varima was certainly the tragedy, and we know that we in racing don't want that to happen to a horse.
Bury Varima at Swettenham Stud, so she gets proper burial. And for all the people out there who did tweet, they went crazy Twitter after it saying, oh, why don't they save horses? And I know a lot of people watching this already know the answer, but you can't save horses with that sort of break in their leg. They can't survive on 3 legs for
stakes form. That certainly holds up. May's Dream comes out of that, 750. Gypsy Diamond, 850. Arabian Gold, 950. And Solicit, Glenn Boss gave it a really good push. You'll hear from Glenn very soon at 11.
I want to see whether I've got this right. Sam Highland. You'll be going with Solicit.
Yes, Shane, I'm going number 5.
For the count of really right to go, and they're off in the Oaks now. Tear Gas missed the start line. 2 lengths. Zanbar away well on the inside. Solicit going up looking for the lead early. And they're followed Melaleuca, Kiramosa coming over. She's going to be pretty handy in the run down towards the judge. She's up there 3rd and 4th. May's Dream behind her. Gypsy Diamond's a little bit wide from Tear Gas and Quayside. And then Arabian Gold, who's gone back to be second last as they head out of the straight. And Every Faith brings up the rear. So they make their way out towards the 2,000 metres now, and Solicit's taken charge here and really wants to get on with it and has broken away. And Every Faith is back last, so they're racing down to the turn now in the Oaks, and Solicit by about 3 lengths from Zanbar, 2 lengths to Melaleuca, 3 behind those Kiramosa, May's Dream the inside. None of these have gone yet, and as they swing around the turn, Quayside, Gypsy Diamond, we're at the head of the others, so into the straight now, and Solicit led by about 3 lengths to Zanbar. Kiramosa starting to work home strongly down the outside. And then Gypsy Diamond and Quayside coming. Still Solicit. Down to the 250 by 2. Zanbar and Kiramosa. They're both trying hard. Solicit's got the wobbles up. And now Kiramosa and Zanbar claim it together. It's Kiramosa, Zanbar with Solicit coming back on the inside. Kiramosa and Zanbar. This will be a desperately close go. They hit it. Kiramosa won the Oaks just from Zanbar and Solicit. A great finish to the Oaks. Behind them in 4th placing was Gypsy Diamond, just in advance then of Every Faith at last home.
Well, we think Nash, well, he's won for sure. They got pretty close, and right after the line, she dashed out. We thought for a moment he might come a cropper. This has been, well, it's been a heck of a week for Nash Rawiller. There's about 5 Nash Rawiller stories we could talk about. Losing his irons, losing the ride in the Melbourne Cup, bouncing back, getting winners, falling off today, not riding this.
Kiramosa, with that turn of speed, grabbed him right on the line. Has just got the head down. These 3 fillies going to
Market mover wins $2.70 GSP. Bit shorter than that on Super Tab and New South Wales. Let's now have a look. I've seen most of these through the carnival, Sammy.
Kiramosa won the Oaks just.
Well, the Wakeful winner wins the Oaks. That's no surprise, but how hard it was to win. If a horse coming off a 64 win at Ballarat, Zanbar is going to be a true staying prospect in the spring. And Solicit, outstanding with the blinkers on, over racing early.
The winning move for Kiramosa was, if you go back and watch the start of the race, the first 20 metres, Nash has a look over and just rolls forward, and he sits 4th when I think a lot of us thought he'd be further back than where he was.
There looked to be a situation.
Kiramosa won the VRC Oaks, yet another filly to win the Wakeful Oaks double. Bit of a change of fortune for Nash too, as we mentioned. He's had to overcome a few obstacles there, but he really showed his class during the carnival.
Certainly did, and she's a filly that peaked at the right time of year. Good job by John Sargent. She put the writing on the wall at her first run at Canterbury in Australia, and she's just kept improving from there on in. I think that Zanbar's the filly for the AJC Oaks. She'd come a long way in a short time. She still looks a bit immature. I really think
Sam thought of these runners as they paraded for race number 5. You've seen most of these through the carnival, Sammy.
Yeah, I like Lake Sentencia. She's ready to peak and, bit better.
They're away. Alzora jumps well down towards the inside, and Zonza got out quickly. Zoomania from the middle stall began fast. And there's Queenstown from deep out, and Keep the Rose comes with her. And they get up there in the early part, but it is Zoomania who has the lead settling into stride, and she's almost a length in front, and they're followed a length and a half to Girl Gone Rockany. Pingle starting a move round the outside, then Detox, Kaz and Luck, Zarella trying to get a cart home. Unchain My Heart a fair way back with Miss Zanella, and then Bells of Troy, Endless Shadow as last. They're on the turn now, 600 metres to go, and Zoomania has it from in second placing Keep the Rose as they balance for the run in. Queenstown 2 lengths away, about to be let go. The Pinglestar made up a lot of ground in the black colours, and then Alzora, followed by Zonza. It's Zoomania inside the 400, with on the outside Keep the Rose, and here's Queenstown starting to wind up now, and they're a good way in front of Girl Gone Rock and starting to finish off with the Pingle inside the 200. Keep the Rose and Queenstown. Girl Gone Rock and continuing to come. It's Keep the Rose, Queenstown, Girl Gone Rock and a Pingle. Queenstown and a driving finish, put a nose in front. Oh, Girl Gone Rock and died to made it very close. Queenstown, Girl Gone Rock and a photo finish. Then Keep the Rose on the inside, might be third from Pingle. Kaz and Luck made up a tremendous amount of ground, but it was all over. Got it by a whisker on the outside. Last stride, good ride by Dunn, got into a good trailing position. Queenstown
today she's taken out the big prize. Well done to Anthony Mithen and Nigel Austin from Rosemont Stud. That they'll be thrilled to win.
The only place she was in front was where it matters, the winning post, and she can go off to stud now as a Group 2 winner with a great pedigree out of a Group 1.
6 on the card, the first of the big ones, the Group 1 $1 million VRC Classic, and a race where Lucky 9 will also be racing for bonuses of $1.2 million. He's the tote favourite. He's the favourite on track as well at $3.80. I can tell you this wind has picked up even further. It's a very, very windy day out here at... Okay, Sammy, from the yard.
Terry, I like number 1, the top weight, Lucky 9. He's a beautiful looking horse. Couldn't go.
Read out to you. And he is a top-class sprinter. He's the best back runner. Moment of change, 10 into 9. A little move against him and rock solid.
Set. Racing, Lucky 9 jumped nice and evenly. Villaverde the Grey began quite well, buffering away with all his usual dash, and he's the leader in the early stages. Moment of change quickly up into second placing as they settle into stride now, and they're being followed by Lucky 9 up the middle of the course. He's outside of Sessions and Epaulette. Back in behind those horses is Fontalina, Rebel Day in red sleeves and cap not too far away from them. And they're being followed wider out Unpretentious on the outside of Villaverde. Bell Sprinters a fair way back with Temple of Boom. Sham Express back towards the end and also Sidestep who's out wide. So it's Little buffering the leader coming down towards the 500. He's 2 lengths in front. Lucky 9 doing the chasing on the outside of Moment of Change. They're clear then from Villaverde, Bell Sprinter, Fontalina, and then came Rebel Dane still buffering out in front. 300 metres to go. He's 2 lengths clear on the outside. Lucky 9 now. Preble throwing everything at him, trying to get him to answer. Buffering's going great guns at the moment. Moment of change, and here's Sham Express starting to finish. Buffering still in front with 100 to go. Sham Express is flashing home. Buffering tiring. He's hanging on though, and Buffering's won it by 3/4 to Sham Express. Moment of change ran third. Fontalina's run fourth, and they're followed by Temple of Boom. Lucky 9 didn't finish off, and Rebel Dane, and behind them is Bell Sprinter, followed further back by Sessions, Unpretentious. Then came Villaverde, Sidestep towards the end, and Epaulette is last home.
Well, he's gone to a new level as an ageing horse, as Rob Heathcote mentioned previously when interviewed, that the older he gets, the better he has become. He took charge of the race. He had a great association with Rob Heathcote and a career highlight for both trainer, rider, and now horse.
Now, it takes him all that time to win his first Group 1, and then he wins his second straight on the back of it, and that's a huge win. Leading the pack and worked at
sectionals early, so he could pick up and have the turn of foot at the end of the race.
Well, just too fast. Peter Snowden recognised this bloke. He wanted him to come down and ride in the Golden Road.
Took him a long time to win his first Group 1, and now he can't stop winning them.
Well, the words of Chris Waller a week ago, I heard him say Red Tracer, 2 weeks ago, she took a long time to win one, and invariably the second one comes not long after, and Little Buffering's done the job. And as I said to the guys earlier, there's no Black Caviar around, there's no Hay-List, there's no Sepoy. There's a Buffering now.
Yeah, and by the same token, it was a hot field.
Rob, good morning to you again, and it's an extraordinary ride, isn't it? We sat here last week thinking about Buffering struggling for a Group 1. Now it's 2 in a row.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff, to even imagine that, getting knocked around 18 times and he couldn't quite get over the line. And they're talking to Michael off air, some would consider he wasn't a Group 1 horse, even though he competed at the highest level. And I guess he needed to win one to be a true, genuine Group 1 horse. And I find it quite extraordinary. A couple of weeks ago, he wasn't a Group 1 horse, and now the headline says he may be the best in the world. Changes quickly. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, nothing away from him. I'm sure they'll find something there. He may not have travelled, or he's had a little setback leading into the race, but he was the highest rated sprinter in the world up until yesterday, and no Black Caviar, no Hay-List, and now we've got Buffering.
Hadn't you seen the ride?
Now his time has come, and again, as we were saying earlier, extraordinary odds. $11, I think they were betting just before the off, and we knew where he'd be. He's chased Black Caviar up the straight a couple of times. He's run second to Hay-List, and we knew he'd be thereabouts with 200 to go, and a brilliant ride by Damien. I think we were saying, but it's an honour to be racing against her. I mean, she's, it really puts it into perspective now how good she was. Here's Buffering, potentially the best in Australia, potentially the best in the Southern Hemisphere. And Black Caviar was bashing us to pieces.
Well, let's have a look at Buffering did yesterday.
It's won it by 3/4 to Sham Express.
I think if you
14 wins, 14 placings in a spectacular 37-start career. But Rob, as we touched on, if you just break this down, and it shouldn't be a mathematical exercise, but this is how good Brown gets it right here. First section, 24.74. Second, 21.70. Tanner punters and 23.92 home. It's that midsection, which is where Black Caviar won her races, and just getting everything off the bit chasing.
And Damien said to me when he came in, he said, I went for home a couple of 100 metres earlier than I normally would because I knew I'd got away with an early section. And, that's Buffering's ability, the ability to cruise along at a high.
And the great thing for you and WA racing fans, you're going to the caravan rolls on, so to speak. You're off to Perth for the winter bottle.
Yeah, the guys from Perth have been great. They flew Tony Golan and myself down a retired Black Caviar.
Rob, how long can you keep this horse at this level? How sound is he? He seems to be enjoying his racing. He's just foolproof.
And every time. And as I was just saying to Andrew, I think what we've got to do is specifically target the races we go for, race him sparingly, and just go for the biggies.
Okay. They're all running for cover behind him, and he just quickened up.
Well, he negatively split the last 600. Yeah. They went nearly a second quicker the last 600 than they went the first 600. Well, if you're coasting out in front of an horse like Buffering and you can negatively split that last half of the race, it's mathematically impossible for those horses to beat you because there wouldn't be, only Black Caviar might be able to do it.
What on earth happened to the Hong Kong horse, Lucky Nine?
He just didn't go down the straight. He wants to hang and not go straight. He's a better horse around the bend, but that wasn't the real horse. Sham Express was very good. He got held up for 200 or 300 metres. But although that was his first win down the straight, Buffering, he's a very, very good straight track horse because he goes as straight as a die, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he can keep pressure on for a long time. And also, he's that field, that trifecta, a very high-class trifecta, because they've put the score on the board previously.
They have.
So good.
Induced Pulmonary. In the VRC sprint, Eberlet finished last of the 13 and he has been retired after his inglorious performance today. Okay, Shane, let's go and have a look at the betting and what's happening here for the running of the big one.
All right, you can see that Baban, who was really well backed yesterday and then early this morning, it's just starting to drift a little on track. They put up 380 and punters sort of on course over here for the Emirates. Hard race. The easing favourite is number 2, Boban, and he's Sam's pick from the parade.
And racing. Speediness jumps well on the inside. Nashville slow from the outside. And into stride very quickly is Solzhenitsyn over on the outside, going to the lead with Rhythm to Spare. As they settle through the first couple of 100 metres, Toydini's got over into third placing, followed by Malakalok on the move, and then Speediness 5th or 6th, the inside of Spur Tonic. A length and a half further back came Boban, and they're followed by Smoke and Joey, Blackie and Sacred Falls. 2 lengths away then came Strike the Stars, the outside of Stipulate, and back last is Nashville. So it's Rhythm to Spare, bowling along in the Emirates, led by about 2 lengths here from Malakalok with 1,000 to go. Solzhenitsyn on the rail, a length and a half to Spur Tonic, getting a beautiful run. 2 lengths in front of Toydini, Smoke and Joey, Speediness. 1 further back is Boban, Sacred Falls. They're followed by Blackie and Stipulate, Strike the Stars, and 2 lengths away was Nashville. In the run towards the home turn now, and Rhythm to Spare, the leader down on the inside from Malakalok, Solzhenitsyn, and then Spur Tonic just poised for his run. Smoke and Joey coming around the outside when they sweep into the straight. Sacred Falls is getting to the outside now. They sweep around the home turn, and it's Malakalok who's gone to the lead. Solzhenitsyn stayed right against the inside. Still there is Rhythm to Spare. Smoke and Joey down the outside, and they're followed by Boban. He's now starting to descend on them. They've come to the 200 metres, and Speediness has got up on the inside. Goes to the lead now. Coming on Boban. Malakalok is boxing on. Speediness with 100 to go. Boban coming after him. Malakalok in the middle. Right across the track. Boban dives. And he's done the big double. Boban beats either Speediness or Smoke and Joey out wide. Toydini is close up with Malakalok, and also then Sacred Falls right over on the outside. What a big finish. Spur Tonic, Strike the Stars are just off them, followed by Blackie and Stipulate. Nashville, Solzhenitsyn, one of the last home.
Amazing scenes there with the connections of Boban, and why shouldn't they be excited?
He threads through so brilliantly. It was close. He had the big weight. He's done the lot, this horse. He's 5 for 5 in the spring. And I know we've had Atlantic Jewelers, great as she was early in the spring, and Fiorente and Guelph and all that. But for me, this is the horse of the spring. There he is, holding off, beating Smoke and Joey, who's run second, number 13 for Wes Hunter and Jason Bembo. And in third place.
Even in the straight, I was like, gee, this horse is just going to win. And he's a real winner.
He certainly is, Sam. And let's see him do it all over again. Here's Boban.
Yeah, look, he just keeps on stepping up. He had it all to do today. Obviously, 3 weeks between runs and up in the handicap. And I think I said during the week I'm probably riding one of the best horses in the country, and Chad's won the best race in the country. So straight into the carnival for us. It's been a great family.
Chris Waller, that was the performance of an outstanding racehorse.
Yeah, he fought very hard today. He got there with 100 metres to run, and I guess he was out on out of petrol, so to speak. And he's dug very deep and brave win.
Jumped well today, race midfield as well.
For Baban, off a benchmark 90, is an 86 rater on debut for Chris, and doing something that hadn't been done since Chanticleer, 1986, coming off an Epsom, winning a Emirates Stakes. Great performance. Smoking Joey's having a good lie down this morning. He had a look at the breeze and the grandstands, and was brave for Wes Hunter running second here. But I think, as we discussed, Rich, I mean, no matter that, Baban's just got a knockout blow there somewhere, which he would have delivered no matter what the outcome.
Yeah, look, the last little bit he was going away from it. He's just a winner. I kept thinking to myself at the Epsom, if you looked at the run of the Epsom, he got checked about 2 or 3 times. He was gone. And at the last 100, he just surged to pick up Streamer and Toydini in the last few bounds. He's amazing. I remember that benchmark race you spoke about, Bruce. I put up.
He won the Bill Ritchie in Sydney, won the Epsom. Now he's won another big mile.
How good is he? How good is he? We don't know. He's unbeaten since a gelding. He's a horse that he's hard to ride. Glenn's got a great affinity with him, and he's still hard to ride.
All right, well, here he is winning the Emirates last time. Actually, he gets back in the field. He always needs luck, doesn't he?
He does, and he slightly over-raced this time. I was watching him very carefully. He got on the steel a little bit, not badly. I've seen him a lot worse and win. But he was ridden a bit closer, and that made a difference because I don't think he could have, well, I'm pretty certain he couldn't have come from any further back and won. He grabbed him in the last bit. Enormous run, Smoking Joey. It was
one.
I know.
Wide, no cover, the whole way. It was an amazing run.
It sure was. And look, I know people will see this as some sort of criticism of Boban, and it's not. I think the horse is going sensationally well and is a very, very good horse who at this stage we haven't seen perhaps the best of. But I don't think that was the strongest Emirates field I've seen. I think the fact that Smoking Joey can go 3 deep and nearly win it.
Give a bit of credit to the trainer. There's a couple of runs for that trainer.
Wonderful effort.
He was so dominant on Derby. Maybe he's going the ability.
Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and maybe this is the race that Bart can take out this year with precedence. He's a $7 chance. Tate Punters have got him at $4.40. Favourite on track is Sertorius at $4.60.
Has gone from 6 out to 7, number 2. The Toppy Collini's at 15 all the way through. Forgotten Voice 750 out to 9.
Away they go. Precedence jumps well from the middle of the line. Down on the inside, Garud, Let's Make a Deal. Einstein all jumped away well. Sartorius has bounced out of the barriers pretty well. He's up there in the early part, in fact, going for the lead. So it's Sartorius and Precedence, the 2 front runners to Einstein. Mourinho, normally a front runner, he's trapped out deep. He might have no other option to go around him here. Forgotten Voices on the move deeper out as well. Verdant just off them from Let's Make a Deal. Garud now back on the inside about midfield. A funny old the tail inside the 1,000. Mourinho by 3/4. Forgotten Voice. Sartorius is running third. Precedence. Fourth the outside, then Einstein, Verdant. Back behind those horses is Garud on the inside at the 800 metres from Let's Make a Deal. Angola, La Amistad, no run at the moment, followed by Kalini Rathira and Mudra still last. So Mourinho on the turn for home, leads narrowly from Forgotten Voice on the outside. Sartorius just biding his time, plenty of room to come through on the inside. And there followed Precedence, now starting to wind home strongly, followed by Verdant. And they're followed further back then by Let's Make a Deal, Pill to the outside. Sartorius has got up on the inside and Precedence. They've gone up with Forgotten Voice, and they're the 3 leaders ahead of Garud. And then came Let's Make a Deal. Sartorius kicking on strongly. Precedence on his outside. They've raced away from Let's Make a Deal. Sartorius and Precedence with 100 to go. Sartorius the inside. Precedence on the outside. What a great finish this is. They go to the line and a bobbing go between them. Not really sure. It's very close. Precedence and Sartorius. A photo for third as well between Let's Make a Deal and Forgotten Voice, who kicked on well. Mudra came home into about 5th placing, followed by Garud, La Amistad, and behind those is Mourinho, followed by Einstein and Kalini, and then Angola and Verdant at the tail of the field.
It wouldn't be a Melbourne Cup Carnival without Bart Cummings. Precedence won it. On the outside, he's got there narrowly from Sartorius in a sterling battle. Short half head will be the margin. Williams positive at the...
He's well beyond the 1.5 million. Warren, he's been a little bit maligned during his career, and anyway, this year he couldn't make the Melbourne Cup field.
Craig Williams getting the job done there on precedence. Missed out in the Melbourne Cup by one spot. Run the last 3 Melbourne Cups. Now he's qualified for next year's. Winning the Queen Elizabeth. He might get going as a 9-year-old. Get him going there, young James. With Bart Sartorius was fantastic on speed, dominated race here. I think Ryan is terrific on Sartorius.
What do you think of the protest, Shark?
Protest? Where was the interference?
Oh, you haven't been convinced that I've got the wrong race.
Yeah, look, it was a lovely option for him. I think it was a blessing that he didn't get a run in the Melbourne Cup, but this was a beautiful race for him. He was perfectly ridden by Williams, and he gets the job done, and they get a good result because they get a $100,000 bonus as well.
Do you say that because you think this is more his level than the Melbourne Cup? You think
There's no doubt about it. Like, he's earned, I think he's finished in the first 10 a couple of times over the last 3 years.
I think all of them. He's finished in the first.
Well, he's earned $250,000 for the last 3 years running in the Melbourne Cup. Yesterday, placed in a race he can win, he earns $280,000 with a bonus, and he can still run for a $100,000 bonus next week.
Yes,
in the Sandown Cup at Caulfield.
He would have had to have run a place in the Melbourne Cup
have happened
to win more money, I think, or maybe fourth. But he wouldn't have run in the first 4 in the Melbourne Cup. There's no way he would have.
Still a great job to get him peaking at the right time of year again, and that's him. He's been a great money spent.
There's an earthquake coming. Here it is from Sydney yesterday. Best win of the day.
As they approach the home turn, Sheer Style raced away. It's the leader by a couple on Earthquake, tracking up behind it, and then Bomber Brown. Freezer charges a little bit wide, followed by Pinch Me, and then Headwater Country. It's Sheer Style in front, but Earthquake is starting to come after it quickly on the outside. He's riding confidently on Earthquake as it moves up to Sheer Style, and they've gapped the rest now, and Earthquake lets down very strongly at the 100-metre mark. It's racing away, and Earthquake's going to be much too good on debut. Beat Sheer Style about 6 lengths away, third.
Well, soft kill, exceeding Excel filly for Darley here. Big gap to third, and that was the favourite. And this is what Christian Reith had.
She's an absolute star. She always was going to be. I think she, in my opinion, will be the next Guelph. She's just got the perfect.
He said she's the next Guelph.
Yeah.
You just can't believe she was 650.
No, exactly. She's really well-bodied filly as well.
And understandably so. The filly was impressive, but Guelph, she could be the next Guelph.
Well, she's got a bit of work to do that. But
she's probably better at that age than Guelph was.
He's obviously excited by her and the feel that she gave him.
Tremendous crowd here at Caulfield for this transferred Sandown Guineas meeting. The club was looking towards around 6,500, perhaps 7,000 max. I reckon they found that. I know some of the grandstand is closed off with the current exams on at the moment, but gee, they flushed a few out onto the lawn. But what a terrific looking crowd and good atmosphere here today for this meeting. There's the Kevin Heffernan coming up, and Platelet is
Set racing. Platelet jumps away well, so did Le Bon Sir. She can skate wider, and It Is Written got away very quickly as they settle into stride by the 1,100 metres now, and She Can Skate out very deep on the course. Is racing over to take up the running in the early part now from Jolie Blonde, Hot Schnitzel, Lankan Rupee fourth, and then Le Bon Sir fifth. Famous Seamus getting through near the inside, followed Platelet. It Is Written deep out, and Lonspresso near the fence. Followed by Pinwheel, Pago Rock, and through to Vatavai. She Can Skate the leader, 600 to go by 2.5 Lankan Rupee, Jolie Blonde. And in between those in the red colours, Hot Schnitzel, 1 Le Bon Sir, Famous Seamus, the fence from It Is Written. A length to Platelet and Lonspresso, a fair way back, and so is Pinwheel, followed Pago Rock, and last Vatavai. She Can Skate leads around the turn by 2, Jolie Blonde, Lankan Rupee saving ground, hugging the rail and finishing well, followed Le Bon Sir. Platelet's got a fair bit to do. It's Lankan Rupee scooting up on the inside and heading She Can Skate. Then Le Bon Sir followed by Hot Schnitzel. Pinwheel down the outside, but Lankan Rupee by 2 lengths. Hot Schnitzel running on well, but Lankan Rupee ran the 1,200 solidly and wins it from Hot Schnitzel. Either Famous Seamus or Pago Rock for the third placing, and Pinwheel worked home fairly well down the outside. Then came She Can Skate, Le Bon Sir, and behind the and Vatuvai picked up Jolie Blonde, and Platelet, well, that's not her form. She's absolute.
1,200 metres, no problem at all. Lankan Rupee had a good bunny to chase here in the speedy She Can Skate, the market mover 13 to 7. But Lankan Rupee probably get the right end for the autumn now, I guess. Yeah, no doubt. But he had a good, probably had a good bunny there to chase, didn't he? Like he probably helped him settle a bit better.
Really
Sure, but now he's gelded.
Wins it from Hotschnitzel.
Mick Cross was concerned about the 1200, but again, similar to the previous race, had a bunny to chase there and Chic and Skate and Lankan Rupee. Best served off it, gelded and blinkers off, different horse. Hot Schnitzel very good, upside with it. Famous Seamus came for the race and ran as good as he possibly could. He platelet.
She wasn't as good away to recover, but Lankan Rupee, this is a serious horse. You look back at his career early days, he was really competitive with Schnitzel and in the Blue Sapphire at this track, carried weight and was just beaten by her when she was going really well. Turned the tables on that mare at Flemington last start. The 1200 would be really competitive in those second-tier sprints for sure. Maybe a race like the Oakley Plate, that might suit him under handicap conditions. But he's a really good talent, this.
Rich.
An 1100-metre horse, and at this level, I would hardly think he's a 1200-metre horse, but he beat them like he was a 1400-metre horse. So look, he is going well. Another solid win. Hot Schnitzel looks back on track. I think there's something wrong with Platelet. She hit it. You'll see her dip in the straight there, and she drops right out, the favourite. Famous Seamus hits his flat spot here and rallies again late along the inside. So another one of these races, you think maybe advantage up the fence here again.
Are you saying there's track bias? Because you are, definitely. Because this horse is a noted 1100-metre, 1000-metre horse, and gee, he was strong the last 100 metres of a 1200-metre race. He was actually working away from the field here. A couple started to rattle home a little late, but he worked away from the field at the critical stage there and held them.
Yeah, that was a strong win.
Famous Seamus was good. The guineas coming up here. Favourite is Pax Amadia, better odds with the bookies, $3.20.
Set. They're off. Riker jumped really fast down on the inside and pinged away, but here they come. Equator coming over, and Apollo's Choice from the outside stall began very quickly. Paxamati is up there settling fourth. And Pompeius on his outside, but it is Equator with the blinkers on who takes up the lead, and out to the top of the hill he goes with Paxamadia booting up to get into second placing now. Closely, Equator leads to the railway side. Paxamadia a length and a half away second, 2 lengths to Riker. Apollo's Choice is fourth. They're followed by In a Frenzy down on the inside, being trailed further back in the field by Pompeius on the outside. Then Best Case trying to find his way through ahead of Champollion, Gabble. Outlandish is second last, and Delago's Storm. So to the turn, Equator by a length and a half. Niggled along in second placing, Paxamadia, 3 in front of Riker at Apollo's Choice, and Best Case getting to the outside. Around the turn, and Equator led by 2 lengths. Paxamadia coming to the outside, but he had to pull the whip on at McAvoy, and then it came Apollo's Choice and Best Case right down the outside. Equator in front, 150 to go. By a length to Paxamadia, Apollo's Choice and Best Case. Equator getting a bit tired. Paxamadia starting to lift. Paxamadia raced up to Equator, put his head in front, and it's Johnny again. Paxamadia 3/4 of a length on the line. Equator second, Apollo's Choice third, and Best Case ran fourth, and that quartet got right away on the rest of them. Champollion
In the Sandown Guineas goes to Daly. A good tough performance here. They made the race their own. 4 of the past 8 have gone to them. Clever ride in the first couple of 100 metres here. He wins the Guineas.
well, but no, he's a nice horse.
You're hoping he stays here. Is he part of the
absolute last man standing there yesterday? Brilliant ride by Nash in defeat on Equator. Really made Paxamadia earn it. And if there was going to be a question on Paxamadia yesterday, that would have been found out there, and it wasn't. Another great result there for Daly, as Greg said in the call, 4 of the last 6. But Nash
in the leader, and he tried to break their hearts and very nearly did. I think the best horses in the race were first and third. Apollo's Choice still learning what he's doing. You can watch him there and compare his action if you watch the replay back compared to the more polished Paxamadia. You can see there's certainly some room for improvement to come from that horse, and they really just dragged
off. And look, he's got a good little profile. He can race on the speed. He's a tough horse, and look, he only had 1 blot in his copybook when he got back in the field, but here's another one. He looked beaten on the turn because I thought Equator was going.
And there he is. That's Zipping. And this is the Zipping Classic. What a horse he was. 47 starts, 10 wins, 16 placings, a couple of Group 1s, and 4.5 million in prize money. He's going to lead the field out here for this year's running of the Zipping Classic, where precedence is favourite ahead of Sartorius and out to Queenstown and Mid.
40 to 360. Narrowly holds it from Sartorius 420 top fluck to 380. Of the others, Queenstown 480 to 550. 10 to 12.
What a set. And they're off. And Sartorius a touch slow to move down on the inside. Precedence got away well. Pingle and also on the outside of these, Queenstown heading up towards the lead, and so is Kazanluck as they settle into stride. And the mares are 1, 2, 3, 4 down to the judge. And Queenstown has it from Kazanluck. Pingle pushing on and Miss Zanella. Not a lot of room there for What's in a Name, who's wanting to over race and pushing up between horses. Precedence is just off these. Is a touch wide. Sartorius has got through on the rails. Midsummer Sun through on the inside of What's in a Name. Precedence will have to come wide, and then Detox and Ransom. They're bunching up, and Queenstown the leader at the 600 metres. A length and a half, Kazanluck, one Pingle. Sartorius is taking the cheap runs through the inside, and there followed then Midsummer Sun working home, and Detox getting up on the rail, and Precedence was out wider. Still Queenstown the leader around the turn by 2 lengths to Kazanluck and Pingle. Sartorius Maloney's had to pull the whip, and Precedence a fair bit to do. Queenstown in front, 250 to go, a length and a half on Pingle. Sartorius starting to respond down to the inside. Queenstown with 150 to go. Tackled by Pingle. Sartorius getting up on the fence. It's Sartorius finishing hard along the inside. Takes the lead now from Pingle and Queenstown. And Sartorius, a class ride, wins it by a length and a half. Second Pingle and third to Queenstown. And they were cleared then to Midsummer Sun and Detox. Precedence next one over. Followed further back by Ransomed, a long break to Kazanluck, followed in by Miss Zanella, and back at the end of the field, What's in a Name is last time.
And what a star he is, Sartorius. He gets his rightful moment on the big stage today in the Zipping Classic.
For Bruce Elkington and Jamie Edwards, terrific all round.
Good on you, Brian. I know it's a special
suspensions. We'll get to them shortly, but let's concentrate on the winner here. Sartorius bought for 100,000. Very patient owners, patient owner Michael Palmer with their trainers Jamie and Bruce Elkington.
It was his second win. I think he's run 4 seconds as well from his spring preparation. So a great return there for Sartorius. But as you mentioned, just a little bit slowly away. And the plan to be up tagging Queenstown had to go out the window, and Ryan was forced to think on his feet, really. And jockey in his situation, okay, he's a lesser light. He has stuck with Sartorius. He knows the horse very well. May have panicked and rushed and put.
Keep going, Bruce, and just reward for the favourite Precedence. Well, it's funny. You had to back him up. But James Cummings and Reg, they all said we've spaced his runs with preparation, and he's appreciated it. The quick back up, he just didn't back up.
Yeah, assistant horse. I can't remember the last time he ran a bad race, and he was ridden to victory by Ryan Maloney, who's joined. What happened to Precedence?
Well, he just didn't back up. I think he likes his races spaced. Maybe he's not a Caulfield horse.
Old horse now.
Maybe he should be back.
Feature at Ascot in WA on Saturday was the Group 3 Prince of Wales Stakes. 2013 Winterbottom Stakes winner Barrackey made his race return after a disappointing autumn.
Barrackey is well clear. 4.5 to 5 in front from Chip Point. Waterman's Bay running on. The post looming. He's starting to stop, but he's going to have enough in hand as Power Princess dives at him right on the line. She, I think, missed him. Barrackey has just scrambled in, I think, from Power Princess.
Yes, he did get there, the favourite Barrackey, to take out the feature in Perth, the Prince of Wales Stakes. That was a Group 3, of course. He is a winner. He's won the Winterbottom Stakes previously. He's only been beaten once in his life.
I thought that was a good performance. He was first up from a long spell, was 1,200 metres, and boy, he didn't hold back on him. He let him run from. He started to over race a little, and Jason Brown just said, "Let's go, boy," from the 800. He was entitled to get tired. I mean, good performance. Hopefully he can bounce forward off that and keep improving, and hopefully it's not a gut buster for him as well.
No. Their time with Woodland. So Pete Snowden, special guest on Racing Retro, and he had a tremendous. Now the Group 1 Winterbottom Stakes is coming up at Ascot, $505,000 of Group 1 victories. The Queenslander, $2.10. The West Australian champ, Barrackey, unbeaten at Ascot, 12 wins from 13 starts, $5. Moment of Change, Luke Nolan, Pete Moody, $7.60. Spirit.com.au fixed odds market for the Winterbottom, buffering, clear favourite, 4 points ahead of Barrackey. Moment of Change, 7.
Racing in the Winterbottom now. Buffering was out okay. Barrackey, he jumped fairly. The Rising was away brilliantly. Moment of Change, Beach Express. Right behind them, Accelerator, Spirit of Boom, and then 2 lengths dominating Shining Knight, Power Princess, Tiger Feet, Waterman's Bay. It's buffering on the outside at the 850, looking to cross Barrackey. Jason Brown holding out Damien Brown, but Buffering crosses. Buffering's won that battle for the lead. He settles a length in front. Jason Brown pushing up on the inside, though, with Barrackey. Spirit of Boom and the Risings outside of those. Spirit of Boom got a check there, lost about a length and a half. Moment of Change going up in front of him, followed by Beach Express, further back Accelerator. Then Power Princess, Shining Night, Tiger Pete, Waterman's Bay, dominating last of all at the 400, the Great Queenslander, the leader, Buffering. Barrackey on his inside, and now they're about to really test out each other. Here's Moment of Change, the Rising, down the outside, Beach Express. Buffering shook off Barrackey. Barrackey's gone. Buffering's the leader, the Victorian. Moment of Change trying to run him down. Damien Brown lifting on the inside, Buffering. Moment of Change will lunge at him. Buffering, Moment of Change, and Buffering in a photo. Nearly a dead heat. I couldn't split them in the Winterbottom. Buffering and Moment of Change. Anyone's guess. Right behind them for third, Spirit of Boom, who got a check early on in the race. Followed home then by Waterman's Bay, Shining Night, Beach Express ran out. I reckon he might have got there by the skin of his teeth in another thriller in the Winterbottom. Moment of Change. The Victorian and the Queenslander went to the line. Buffering, Moment of Change. Nothing in it. I reckon we'll give it to Buffering. Maybe. Victories to the Great Queenslander. Buffering, no numbers. Buffering, Damien Brownie. It's 3 straight Group 1 victories to the Great Queenslander. Buffering has won the Winterbottom. 3, Moment of Change is second. 5's got third, Waterman's Bay in the photo. 4th is 2, Spirit of Boom. And
what his moment in the sun, I'm sure. And Waterman's Bay, who ran third in the Cole Reeves at Group 3 level last start.
Well, it was an exciting finish. There wasn't much between the first two when they hit the line. What was your initial thought? Did you think he'd got there?
Well, 20 metres out, I did. I started to go up in the air, and I said, "Here we go, 3 in a row." And then when they hit the line, I went, "Oh, I'm not so sure here. I don't want to go the early crow." And then when they put the replay on TV, wow, it could have gone either way, to be honest.
Well, when we were all watching,
It's been an extraordinary run with Buffering, and as we all know now, he had 18 packs at the Group 1 and couldn't get one. And it's fair to say he had a few of these go against him. Haley's knocking him off in the Newmarket and whatever. So, what goes around comes around, and, it's our turn for a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Moody came up to me later and said, square up for all those caviar defeats. Huh?
Rob, I don't want to talk about...
I think watching the replay, I think maybe Jason Brown might have erred a little with Barrackey and not coming back and taking the sit off Buffering.
I think most people felt, or Jim Taylor told us before the race on Sky Racing World, that with the wind, and the wind seems to have so much of an impact here that they felt the best thing for Barrackey was to take a sit off him.
Yeah, look, in hindsight, and as you'll see that there was some interference to my good mate's horse, Tony Gollan, for which we're very sorry for. But, as Damien said, look, he knew Barrackey was there and he was sort of being a pest, if I can use that word, which is, perhaps not complimentary too much. But, he said he just wanted to put a little bit of pressure on him to move, to either force him to make a decision. And he didn't realise Nicholas was sliding up on Spirit of Boom, and Damien's copped a decent penalty for it.
Just on that, Ryan, Rob, Damien, would you, if you had it over again, would you have told Damien to be more aggressive and take that lead more decisively early in the race?
Richard, with Damien, I haven't really had to tell him to do anything, the entire preparation. And as I said to the connection...
The way he picked himself up. Now, watch him here. As Buffering comes across here, and that's Barrackey just outside Spirit of Boom in the yellow cap. Now, Barrackey's going to come across the fence. He's almost being forced across the fence by Damien Brown, and that's the way the stewards saw it. And it virtually put Spirit of Boom into the running rail. And he picked himself up and ran fourth and was getting home strong again. It was a tremendous run. He is a really good sprinter. He deserves a big win, that horse.
Another good race there was the Sky Racing WA Guineas for the 3-year-olds. It's him, one of my favourites over there in Perth. He'd won a couple of handy 2-year-old races last season, but he looks to have a very bright future.
This is a very good horse. He's 2 runs at a mile.
He looks to have a very...
Wins. And I think this could be a serious mile-plus horse in Perth, believe me.
All right, that's Simon Miller's pair in front there. Drew mentioned earlier they won all the prize money for getting into the placings there yesterday. Mr. Largo and St. Bro.
Yeah, look, Miss Rose DeLago, she just doesn't help herself. She's got to learn to relax in front, and she doesn't. She just doesn't help herself. But you watch this horse the last 50 metres, he's something special.
Yeah, look, really impressive effort here by Fred Kersley's horse, as you say, Ron. Really found the line. I think Simon Miller thought he was home with Miss Rose DeLago, but that went.
Seen that news on Ranger Stewart's concern about a possible race day treatment as the reason why he was scratched. So I'm sure plenty of news will come out of that. So we're 10 minutes away from the Railway Stakes. If you missed the Winterbottom Stakes, buffering, moment of change. And it's the one the punters wants through that Group 1 Emirates Stakes form line. With saying that, gee, there's some very good opposition. Lucky Grey, Mr. Mowat, who have had success in this race before, and I'm sure will be very competitive. Playing admirers will have something on her after buttering up with buffering, winning his third Group 1, 10 in the $9. Mutual Trust, 13 in to put their name on the winners list.
Now, for the running of this great Ascot Mile, the red light is on. Set, racing in the railway. Grand Nirvana out very quickly from God Has Spoken Conservatorium. Smokin' Joey, and here comes Platinum Rocker striding across, and Mutual Trust is up there as well, and Longport looking for the lead. At the end of 200, the Queensland mare Longport trying to cross Grand Nirvana, won't do so. Platinum, Lucky Bell and Talent Show, followed by Lucky Grey towards the tail end of the field, and Snag back to last. Last year's winner, Mr. Moet. Out to the 900 they go. Platinum Rocker from an outside gate. She's worked across the lead. Fire Up Fifi takes her on lock, stock and barrel. And Fire Up Fifi, the Queensland goes up on the outside to take the lead from Platinum Rocker. Longport third. 3/4 Conservatorium. Grand Nirvana's back on the fence, running about fifth. Around them goes Terrific at the 550. Mutual Trust in the middle. Down on the inside, God Has Spoken with absolutely nowhere to go. And then came Playing God further back in the field to Plucky Bill. And then came Smokin' Joey and Lucky Grey via the Cape. Mr. Moa Talent Show is next to last. They're in the straight. Fire Up Fifi. Platinum Rocker are together. Here's Conservatorium, Terrific, Longport behind them. Playing God now into the open. Lucky Grey runs on. Platinum Rocker, Fire Up Fifi. Conservatorium, Terrific down the outside. Platinum Rocker and Fire Up Fifi, stride for stride. Platinum Rocker, Fire Up Fifi. Lucky Grey on the outside. Swamp them, gather them up. It's another one for Lucky Grey. Lucky Grey's got home to win his second Railway Stakes from either Platinum Rocker or Fire Up Fifi. God Has Spoken, Playing God, Terrific behind those. Mr. Moet, Conservatorium and Longport. They were followed by Kincaid with a Mutual Trust. Further back the Talent Show. Plucky Bell hasn't fired at all. Well back to Grand Nirvana, and the favourite Smokin' Joey caved in to finish at the tail of the field. He's done it again. What a win.
Free. And Trevor Andrews has trained this galloper, and a great performance because said he's been a 13 career starts, and more importantly, this mare puts a Group 1 placing next to her resume. Likewise, Fire Up Fifi.
You. And then I had a horse called Anajuan who had one win from 148 starts, and he's bounced back into the winner's stall. And we had a double kennel, a horse called Lucky Grey, and he has been one of our best patients ever, and he's bounced out of the kennel and won a big $1 million Group 1.
He's won a Group 1.
But congratulations to the connections. Don't send cards, send money.
It's actually getting to a point. It's actually getting to a point where we're getting requests. Can people go in the kennel, or can their horse go in the kennel to sharpen them up? Richard Friedman.
He runs the outside, swamp them, gather them up. It's another one for Lucky Grey. Lucky Grey's got home to win his second Railway Stakes from either Platinum Rocker or Fire Up Fifi.
At $20, Lucky Grey winning his second Railway after winning in 2011 on protest and running second last year. Jockey was Sean O'Donnell, who's joining us.
There didn't look to be too much speed up front in this race, and for this horse to pick himself up and sprint home, he certainly was back to his best yesterday.
Yeah, he can do that, Ron. Fast or slow pace. When he's on and he's feeling really good, that's how he races. So, it was a great effort, especially carrying that weight. It hasn't been done for so many years. I'm not too sure how many.
I want to check his brands, Sean, because the horse in Victoria, he couldn't keep up. And yet, you know, what was actually wrong with him over there? Because he just couldn't keep up in Victoria. You've taken him back here, and that is a different horse.
Yeah, obviously his first campaign when Gino had him, he run fair, and to Black Caviar he run an awesome race that night. But I don't know if they knew how to train him properly over there. It looked like he might have been overworked, but no one's fault because you just got to.
I think so. It was a slowly run race. It was a bit messy early on, only because that happened all day there at Ascot. Obviously, there was some sort of wind that everyone was terrified of to lead, but they were very, very slowly run races.
Yeah, and I thought the second and third horse, good job. You know, they battled on well up there. This bloused by a horse that...
Well, Ascot Race 8, this is the Group 1 Kingston Town Classic. Lucky Grey on track. Opened up at 240 out to 290. Playing God in a point to $8. Mr. Mowat out to 550 from 5. Ranger in 3 points to $18. And It's a Him for Freddie Kersley, the Group 2 Guineas winner, in a 440 from $5. So it's had a lot of Bradby's luck. It's been a wonderful horse for connections, nearly $2.5 million in prize money. He was brilliant with a flashing victory right down the outside to win the Group 1 Railway Stakes back on the 23rd of November.
And the gates open, racing now, and Rohan jumped out well. Black Tycoon bustled hard. It's a Him left quickly, and so did God Has Spoken. Coming over Playing God shortly after the start, pushing up as well Moonlight Bay with Elite Bell settling in front of Ranger Lucky Grey Talent Show. Harvey's forced to go back with Playing God. He was trapped out wide and now snagged back to last is Mr. Ranger. Approaching the 800, Playing God forced to go to the front after pulling hard, leads the way from his full brother God Has Spoken. Rohan down on the rail. It's a Him's had a beautiful run throughout. Then Black Tycoon, the pace going on. They're being followed by Moonlight Bay. O'Donnell's just starting to work on Lucky Grey, and he's travelled up pretty well. Over on the inside, then the mare Elite Bell, Mr. Mowat following Lucky Grey, and then came Ranger and dropping out Talent Show. 400 metres to go in the Kingston Town, and Playing God, a dual winner of the race, leads the way. Here comes the 3-year-old. It's a Him letting loose though. It's a Him quickly got to Playing God from Rohan. Further back, Lucky Grey, Black Tycoon, Ranger. No, Mr. Mowat. It's a Him broke clear. 150 to go. It's a Him clear from Rohan. Here's Lucky Grey flying on the outside. It's a Him. Lucky Grey driving. It's a Him clinging on desperately. The 3-year-old has won it. It's a Him home in the Kingston Town from Lucky Grey and Rohan. And then Playing God ran a great race under the circumstances for Mr. Mowat. Black Tycoon, Elite Bell, Moonlight Bay, God Has Spoken were next home. Further back was Talent Show, with Ranger dropping out, finishing a long last. It's a Him. Stephen Parnham has won his third Kingston Town with the 7-kilo pull in the weights. The son of Iteram.
And trained by the great Fred Kersley, Parnham brings up his third Kingston Town, as Darren pointed out.
Him home in the Kingston Town from Lucky Grey and Rohan.
It's a Him. He'd won the Sky Racing WA Guineas at his previous run and stepped up to Wait for Age to win the Kingston Town yesterday, ridden by Stephen Parnham, who's joining.
And then just at the end, a bit of a comment on how that track played yesterday.
Going into the race, I'd drawn well, as you said, and it was my intention to ride him because they did steady up a bit, and then Playing God, which was caught wide, he went around and put more speed into the race, which I thought give me a much cozier run in the race, and I was able to.
At this point here, coming around the bend, you wanted to make the move and use Lucky Grey to really carry that top weight, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I was had a handful of horse at that stage, and I did it on Playing God at the same time. I was able to boot clear at the corner and pitch a bit of a break, and I thought with those others with 59 on their back, if I can just get enough on them, hopefully I can survive it. And I thought he was pretty courageous in the finish. He fought it out well.
Stephen,
Of the first of the 4 feature events from Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Vars coming up in a few moments' time. Cracking race. The Fugue is the favourite. The Great Britain visitor, William Buick, rides. Horse ran second in the Breeders' Cup in America. Horse ran second in the Breeders' Cup in America last time out.
and comes to Hong Kong. This mare by Den Silly on that second and third line of betting. Incidentally, both Red Cadeau and Dunedin have both won this race in the past. The last couple of years have both gone to those two horses, so they're back to try and do it.
For this year's Vase, and they're ready to run. They're off. The Foog from gate 3 jumped about midfield. And the Japanese stallion, Asuka Kurichan, was the first into stride, and he's rolling over towards the rails with Mount Athos pertinent at the tail of the field as they work down the back of the course. And Andra Starker's allowing Nymphia, the filly, to free stride in the lead, out by a length and a half to Dominant, who comes off the fence. Simenon creeps close to the inside of Asuka Kurichan. Then Red Cadeau, he's been set a big task today on the outside of Mount Athos. Ibiza being called upon now, followed by Seismus. Poya Blitz the outside. The Foog's been shuffled back through the field, and the Foog's got two runners behind her on the turn. Dunit in the rails, and Dominant pulling to the outside as the field starts to bunch now. And Nymphia being pushed. So's Liberator on the outside as the whips are cracking now at the top of the straight. Red Cadeau, he's done it tough, but he goes after the leaders. Simenon goes between them. Dominant's cutting loose on the outside. Boy, he's running a big race for Hong Kong Dominant. He's swept to the front for Zach Burton. 200 metres. Dominant races the length and a half clear. The Foog is trying hard on the outside. Dunedin storming home, but it's Dominant in front for the 100 metres to run. The Foog and Dunedin can't get there, and Dominant. It's been a big year for Zach Burton, and he wins the first of the group features. Dominant from Dunedin and the Foog. Red Cadeau, boy, a big run by him in fourth. Then Simenon from Ibiza. Asuka Kuras Dominant. John Moore training his third winner of the day. He's got big chances through the Group 1s, and Dominant for him.
Hit the line well. I know your contribution throughout the afternoon. Good day on the tip there at Traralgon. Sha-Tin, the Hong Kong Sprint, is our next event for coverage. The superstar Lord Kanaloa, the Japanese horse, is the favourite to beat Lucky 9, the local superstar. That's it for my contribution.
This is Darren. Yasunari Iwata, who's drawn 12 on Lord Kanaloa, looking to make it back-to-back wins in the sprint. Bow out with retirement beckoning as a winner. The world is watching Lord on barrier 12. And they're racing. Lucky 9's dwelt. He's dwelt the start. Time after time gets back Lord Kanaloa midfield, and Rich Tapestry jump well together with Go Baby Go, who quickly slipped across from the outside. Being revved up, the English filly Jawala, she strides to third. Cerise Cherry behind them, then Charles the Great. Lord Kanaloa's three wide going into the first turn, but getting cover. Then Joy and Fun back on the rail. Slade Power and the Power Blue Cap deep out. Then Frederick Engels, Eagle Regiment between them. Two further back to Lucky 9, Soul Power, Sterling City's well back on the fence, and time after time's last, 550 out. It's Rich Tapestry just in front of Go Baby Go and Jawala. Cerise Cherry pinned in fourth on the fence, then Charles the Great. Lord Kanaloa's had no cover, but he cruises up on the outside. Then Slade Power, Eagle Regiment, and further back to Frederick Engels, who's strung up in traffic. Awada says go now on Lord Kanaloa, and the favourite dashes clearing the spread. Awada up and down on the saddle, but away goes Lord Kanaloa. He's going to make it back-to-back wins in the spread. He's swan song of racing. He's waving to the crowd, Lord Kanaloa. Away he goes. He's beaten Soul Power, who's run second, an inch in front of Frederick Engels. There's been a fall back in the field. Sterling City, Cerise Cherry next. Then Rich Tapestry, Lucky 9, Go Baby Time, Charles the Great, Joy and Fun, Eagle Regiment, and unfortunately the English filly Jawala has collapsed. Drama 50 metres before the post, but what a way to go out. 50 metres before the post, but what a way to go out. Lord Kanaloa, not only has he done it, but boy, he's put paid to his detractors today from the wide draw. He's been different class. What a performance. We thought he was impressive.
This type of performer. He's probably not going to get into the top four. Importantly, she's improved since arriving in Hong Kong. She's been trace clipped. It's sometimes hard to really get a gauge on their true condition.
They're off in the Longines, Hong Kong Mile, and there's a great line out of the gates, and the favourite Gold Fun is the first to break it. Deleuze wants to take up the early lead with King Cruiser quickly over into second. Dan Excels handy together with Pure Champion, and Helene Spirit, Real Specialist, are next, with Helene Spirit driving forward. They're followed by Sky Lantern and Moonlight Cloud, both covering a bit of ground. Then Gordon Lord Byron beaten for speed. The Grey Linton defence from Glorious Days. Third last packing wheel, followed by Linton, Real Specialist. One off in the mare. Moonlight Cloud is midfield and in a three-wide position as they race down the side of the course. So she'll certainly have to earn a victory. A length and a half to Sky Lantern, just shading Gordon Lord Byron. Two further back to Glorious Days, packing Wiz. Second last, Shamalgan. An extension popping off the fences last of all. Onto the home turn, and it's King Creaser ahead in front of Helene Spirit. The rails. Gold Fun is stalking the leaders. Real Specialist under pressure from Dan Excel, Pure Champion. Further back to Moonlight Cloud. She's under immense pressure, and Glorious Days zip past her as Deleuze goes for home on Gold Fun, drawing 2 lengths clear. Glorious Days coming into the race fresh. He's cutting back the margin. It's Gold Fun in front of Glorious Days. The outsider looms. Packing Wiz going to third, but Glorious Days. Great training performance by John Size. Going in cold and winning the Hong Kong Mile. Glorious Days for Douglas White.
And out of trouble. And if he's
he will get that cover the entire way around. And he covered the equivalent of roughly 4.5 lengths more than Endowing did in that last.
It's on its way. And Military Attackers in the second half of the field, and Purton snagging him back together with Rainbow Chic. And getting the best of the start was Toko Halo from Same World. Links behind him is Rainbow Chic. 20 for next split. Toko Halo's going at a pace that they just can't put any pressure on him. He's free striding by 3 lengths to Same World with Little Mike third. Cirrus Dezeg punching the breeze in fourth on the outside of Akid Mafid. Then Diatico from Grandeur the rails. 1.5 lengths to Side Glance from Blazing Speed. Then Endowing from Military Attack. The favourite starting to poke between runners down the side of the course. And Rainbow Chic is back last of all as Toko Halo comes back to Same World off the fence. Little Mike moves up 3 deep. Sumion's tracking into the race nicely on Cirrus Dezeg. Douglas White's on the fence on Akid Mafid. He's scraping paint as Toko Halo comes back towards the rails. And Cirrus Dezeg's got clearer running from Akid Mafid. Now Military Attack's well back in the field going between them. It's Toko Halo kicking. Akid Mafid's trying to push out of the pocket. Cirrus Dezeg keeps him there. Military Attack. He's launching a final claim. Akid's off the fence. Here he comes. Akid Mafid rests the lead in the cup. And Akid Mafid draws away to beat Toko Halo. Third's a photo between Cirrus Dezeg and Military Attack. Then Side Glance from Blazing Speed. Further back to Diatico, Grandeur from Little Mike, Endowing. Well, Douglas White really had to keep his cool and Akid Mafid. Sumion wasn't giving an inch there on Cirrus Dezeg, but the run came and he's drawn clear to take it out by
220. Now, this is the big one at Ascot. It's the Group 2 CB Cox Stakes. Let's get to the track. Where's Cameron's Late Mail? 12, 3, 1 and 5.
Yep. Yeah. Kicking up, it's a him, and likewise God Has Spoken, and Kin Capel's going to race up handy. Mr. Moet just behind them, settling down in front of Lucky Grey, steadily run. Moonlight Bay's getting a great trip fourth, and the favourite right behind them, this 3-year-old It's a Him, doing it well. Mr. Moet going up on the inside, and he's within 3/4 of a length of the favourite. They're followed by Black Tycoon, having to be ridden along. Patiently ridden Lucky Grey approaching the 600. Back on the rail to Elite Bell. Playing God is next. Global Flirt second last, and still last is Talent Show. Up nearing the turn with 400 to run, and it's Kin Capel still in front, leads the way from Rohan. Kin Capel, Rohan again coming at him, and It's a Him about to quickly launch his claim on the outside. Here he comes, the 3-year-old. He let go and quickly dashed up to Rohan. Kin Capel with a kick further back behind them. Black Tycoon, Lucky Grey, Mr. Moet struggling, but now Parnham says go on, It's a Him. The 3-year-old on the outside. Kin Capel won't give in. Kin Capel fighting tooth and nail, but It's a Him's got him on the outside, and It's a Him's much too good. The 3-year-old wins again. It's a Him. He scored from Kin Capel. Black Tycoon may have grabbed third between Lucky Grey and Rohan, then Playing God.
For the great Fred Kersley. It's a Him, the 3-year-old. And it's paid 330 and 146. Kin Capel at 590.
Before we even being said, Gold Coast coming up. This is an interesting race here. There's been a long price move for one here. Estonian Princess. We'll get to the official fluck. It's into 12 now, but 41 into 12 for Steve Asbury's Estonian Princess here. Last up maiden winner at Randwick. Scott Asbury, sorry, a Schnitzel filly prize. 41 into 12.
It's a good go in a race of this nature, isn't it?
Sure is. Okay, we'll get to the big move here. 41 into 12 it was for Estonian Princess. Now back to, why would you switch it out to 13? 41 into 12, back to 13 favourite.
And they're racing
Into the red near the inside was one of the first to come out of the gates. NQR began quickly. Gracious Prospect and Sweet Idea are going fast. And when they settle down, it's Gracious Prospect joined by Sweet Idea. The bowler went to third from Bring a Ring. NQR is going to settle in a lovely position near the fence, followed by Into the Red Northern Glory. Wineholt's going to settle in the middle of the field. Then Estonian Prince. Lendora's last. 700 metres to go. Sweet Idea, 3 parts. Gracious Prospect from the bowler. NQR's beautifully poised in fourth, and they're followed by Bring a Ring, Into the Red, Wineholt. The next Estonian Princess, Northern Glory, Architect. Wouldn't it be nice? Shiraz Attack, Missy Longstocking, Dalton and Splendora's last as they corner into the straight. Sweet Idea, the leader. Here's NQR pulled to the middle of the track, followed by the bowler, Gracious Prospect, and Wineholt pulled out to make its run. Sweet Idea led at the 200 metres mark. NQR's in hot pursuit. Wineholt is next, followed by Tinto, but Sweet Idea, the leader. Estonian Princess is getting in the clear, but it's Sweet Idea in front of Estonian Princess, and Sweet Idea has gone home to beat Estonian Princess. A photo third between NQR and Tinto. Then comes Wineholt, the bowler, Gracious Prospect. Shiraz Attack, Splendora. Into the red, Northern Glory. A long way back in the field, Missy Longstocking. There followed them by Bring a Ring. And then comes Dalton. A long way back, followed by Architect. And one of the last time is Wouldn't It Be Nice?
It would be if your game is Go Waterhouse. That's 3 for the day, and this is the first of the big ones, the $1 million prize. This one for James McDonald, made light of a bag. Stalls off the big plonk on Estonian Princess, ran and it's teasing second, and looks like NQR will get third. But Campbell Brown part owner there. Good luck to you, Campbell. Be a nice little fill up for the Go's day's not over yet. Now, when you're hot, you're hot. And she's in fantastic form there at the Gold Coast. And then unencumbered goes. And then unencumbered. Now into $3. It was $4 when the market came out after the barrier draw earlier in the week. Ahead of Invisible. Good luck to Tony Pistakakis and the team with Invisible. Oakley Girl. Right in the betting too. Stroke with the gear changes, and Echo Gal. That's Gal for Gay.
A long way back, and Strokers back at the tail of the field as they come up towards the home turn. They've got 500 metres left to go, and Pinch River first of the corner. Echo Gal and Oakley Girl are there. Sheer Style deep as they come around the home turn, followed by Jeremiah, and Unencumbered's going to get in the clear. He's in the clear now, the favourite. In the straight, 300 metres to go. Oakley Girl, the leader. Here's Unencumbered coming up on the outside. They're followed by Vienna Royale. Ruby Soho is next, but Unencumbered went to the lead with 100 metres left to go from Oakley Girl. Unencumbered in front. He's starting to stride away, Unencumbered, and Unencumbered went home to win. Oakley Girl is second. Ruby Soho third from Cyclone Stroke. Sargatona Invisible never got into it, Vienna Royale. The next home in the race, then we've got Jeremiah, Echo Gal, Totally Sure I Am the General, Sheer Styles, Divine Service, and last home is Celestial Dragon.
Well, the Berry boys make it their own, the Gold Coast Magic Millions Day. And this time it's Nathan. Well done to him and to Bjorn Baker with Unencumbered, the Testarossa Colt. 14 years since Testarossa won the same race, and now he sighs the winner here in Unencumbered. Could almost be for Bjorn and the team behind this inexpensive buy. When you look at what's its return today, 1.4 million jumps in the tank, and Nathan Berry. Tommy, brother, had won 3 going into the big race today. He was on Echo Gal, but Nathan, what a peach of a ride. The Alley's help, barrier 3, was able to give it the sweetest run behind the epic. Good stuff. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Bruce.
It's Jason Petch, does a great job. Sammy, we'll get you a pick from the yard as we look at the interims from the go. Unbeaten this horse. Tremendous result for Bjorn and the team behind this inexpensive buy. When you look at what's its return today, 1.4 million jumps in the tank, and Nathan Berry. Tommy, brother, had won 3 going into the big race today. He was on Echo Gal, but Nathan, what a peach of a ride. The Alley's help, barrier 3, was able to give it the sweetest run behind the epic. Good stuff. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Bruce.
It's Jason Petch, does a great job. Sammy, we'll get you a pick.